Maverick fans, welcome to this week's episode of Chattin Mavericks, the official fan podcast of all things Maverick hockey.
Brought to you in partnership with Pulltab Sports, this is Chattin Mavericks. Check them out at pulltabsports.com and on your favorite social media platform at Pulltab Sports. What's up, Maverick Nation? Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of the one and only Chattin Mavericks podcast, the number one Maverick hockey podcast show in the world, and the only one for that matter. But who's counting? We got a very important show for everyone today. It's our last show of the preseason before the first series of the year here in a few weeks. We got two absolute bangers of interviews on deck. One from an absolute legend in Maverick hockey who just announced his retirement, and another one from a player who absolutely balled out last season, putting the Mavericks on his back at times and was on the top of his game, top of the list in nearly every statistic category for his position in the nation last year. So pumped to talk to him as well here in a second. We're also going to take a quick look at the CCHA and what we think is going to happen, who's hot, who's not. Do a quick little overview there. But first, we got to do a welfare check on myself and Big Bag here. Big Bag, how are the legs feeling? How's the back feeling?
I can't move.
That's just normal.
One of my buddies texted me this morning. He's like, "How you doing?" And I don't know if you guys watch Parks and Rec, but I sent him the GIF of when Ben Wyatt gets food poisoning and he has to roll across the floor to get to the phone. Like, that's how I feel today. My legs just aren't working.
Yeah. I think for those of you that don't know, me and Big Bag had the absolute pleasure last night, but yesterday, all day Saturday, we participated in the first annual, they say it's annual, they're going to try to do it again, but the first ever Maverick Hockey Day adult camp. It was an absolute blast. There's about 30 adults there. I got to skate twice. Got to skate at the Mayo. Obviously, that was sweet. Got a tour of the facility. Got to hang out with players, coaches, ask questions, have some lunch. Just an incredible experience. I can't thank the coaching staff enough. Can't thank the people behind the scenes that make that happen. I mean, it was so fun. I mean, I'll throw it to you, Big Bag, but I had an absolute blast yesterday. It was great to be back on a structured practice for first time since high school for me. So that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you jumping in with a background in hockey and being a goalie, probably a little bit easier for you to hop in than someone like me who's probably playing goalie for the 5th time. But I think that just goes to show how cool that event was altogether. There were people of all different kind of skill sets and backgrounds with hockey, and everybody just had a great time together. Nobody cared if you were a stud on varsity and you're still crushing it in your men's league. Nobody cared if you've been playing for a week. It was such a good time. It was such a great interaction with the staff and the players and getting to know everybody. The Q&A with players was awesome. The Q&A with the coaches was fantastic. That was my first time seeing the facility, and I was blown away by all of it. Like, it's just pristine. Like, and knowing full well that probably that facility is maybe middle of the road or a little bit above middle of the road compared to the Michigan States, the Michigans, the Minnesotas, all that stuff. Like North Dakota, I can't even imagine what theirs look like, but I can, at the same time, I can absolutely understand why a recruit would come to Mankato and see those facilities and be like, I'm on board with this. It was just awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool. Again, as my first time as well. I'd never been, behind those doors, and just, I mean, from the locker room to the players' lounge to the, coaches' offices, video room, hot, cold tubs, the weight room. I mean, it's incredible. It's top notch, and to have access to something like that every day would be so cool. We were me and my buddy that went, Joey, that went as well. We were joking like, we'd take out like a 32% interest loan to get one of those sweet squat racks in there. That'd be awesome. Sell everything just to get one of those 6 custom Maverick hockey squat racks. Those things are sick. So, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're going to try to do it again next year. So keep your eye out for that. I mean, if you didn't go this year, like some people in this recording room here, it is so fun. It was so fun. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I missed
Q&A
out,
with the
huh?
players.
I'm just-
As
People were asking where you were.
I will say, yeah,
I'm just
a
more
lot of
popular
people.
than you guys.
You are.
Yeah. People know the big man in the fur jacket. I mean, they were wondering where Juts was.
The fur coat's done for, boys.
It's been to retirement. So I mean, it was just, if you didn't go this year, you missed out, and you got to go next year. It's unbelievable. Just you get a different side of the players and the coaches when they don't have a camera on their face, or they're not on even. I think we do a decent enough job of getting stuff out of players and coaches and stuff when we have them on here, but it's a whole nother level just getting them as people, eating a meal with you, or having a drink with you. It's a whole different, it's just, it all stays there, and the floor is open. Coach literally said, ask these guys whatever you want, you ask me whatever you want. It's all out there. So it was an incredible experience. Can't thank the staff enough for, I mean, what a awesome job that Strand has done opening up that back room to the public, and just making things more community centric. It's unbelievable. I mean, Big Bag, I don't know if you have anything more on it, but
No, just I don't want to name names, but I did foil an attempt to make me look stupid in between the first and second session. Somebody put sock tape on my skate blades. I managed to catch that before stepping out on the ice.
Damn,
Could
nothing
have
better than that.
41-year-old out of shape guy doesn't need that kind of danger in his life, so I feel blessed to even be here today talking to you guys after that.
How'd you even know that was happening? Did you check your skate?
Honestly, I if Cam had, or if this unnamed person had put the skate down with the blade more facing underneath my bench where I was getting ready, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have seen it. But he had the blade facing out towards the rest of the locker room, and there was a little glimmer you could see when I sat down and reached down to pick up the skate. I could see a glimmer, and I'm like, what is, oh, okay, sock tape, got it. Knew exactly who it was.
An unnamed birdie told me that Big Bag didn't even want to go out for the second session.
I said I didn't know if I could.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're getting this unnamed person's words twisted a little bit, but yeah.
Fake news.
I will absolutely admit that I was gassed after the first go, and eating lunch, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can feel my back turning into a block of cement. And after the Q&A session with the players, it was maybe 1:20. I don't know how much time we had. We had probably 15 minutes to get back out there.
Yeah.
And it takes me forever to get my goalie gear on, because I don't know what I'm doing. I had to have another dude, shout out to that dude that helped me get my chest protector on.
Can you tie my skates?
Cam was in the other locker room.
Yeah, I was on the other team. They had to separate all the skill. So me and Big Bag couldn't be on the same team. So
but yeah, I'm I let's see how, I'm gonna do it, but holy smokes, is it gonna be a different story than the first time I was out there?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the most hockey I've played in a while. I mean, it reminded me of being at a hockey camp back in the day, when you're in high school or Pee-wees or whatever for a week. Putting the wet gitch on afterwards sucks. Yeah. That was the worst. I kind of forgot about that. I should have brought another pair. It's kind of on me. But I mean, yeah, it was so fun. It was an unbelievable experience. Do it next year if you didn't do it this year, and if you did next year, I hope to see everyone there again. That's a cool thing too. Just meeting more people, that are part of the Mav fam, and meeting fans of the game, and people that are just as passionate about Maverick hockey as us. It was awesome to meet people. It was probably the best part. So, what about you, Juts? Let's check in with you. What's new with you? Anything before we get into the episode here?
Living life, enjoying watching college football on a Saturday instead of having to go do pay to play. I enjoyed sleeping and watching college football yesterday. Wouldn't change that for a thing.
All right.
No, I'm just
shut
kidding.
up.
That's gonna get cut anyway. No, I'm doing good. things are going well, getting into the swing of teaching. Just like being around, I forgot how gross children are. So I've just had like a 2-week long cold that I can't get over. So
Oh, yeah.
that's fun. I've been drinking a lot of tea. Got my
Is there a significant difference between being a student teacher and an actual teacher?
yeah. Because as like the real teacher, it's only you. Whereas like if you really don't want to like redirect the behavior, or it's like, you know, I used to be able to spend a lot of time like one-on-one with my students as a student teacher because there was someone else in there teaching the class for a while. And now like I have to. It's harder to build connections with my students. Like it's taking longer because I'm teaching in front of the class the whole time instead of like moving around and like talking to them all the time or being like, yo, be quiet, you know. But yeah, it's definitely a lot harder and there's like no one else to help you. So like you have to teach, you have to redirect the behaviors. If something goes wrong, it's on you. You can't just be like, well, crap, we messed that one up. And so I messed that one up.
So
which
knock
on wood, haven't messed up yet. But
over the course of a day, what percentage of your day is like teaching content, having to know what you're actually talking about, and being a psychologist for 30 to whatever, however many students are in your class?
it's probably like I try to give like 25 minutes per class of like instruction, lesson, and then a lot of the time I don't believe in homework, so like giving them class time to do their work for like 25, and then in that time you are dealing with like, Mr. Chatting, they did this, or they did me. Like, I never thought I'd have to say keep your hands to yourself to 10th grade, or not like to like 10th graders, but like I'm like, gee, what are we doing here?
You're just getting it, just learning it all, getting all the experience. It sounds like that's good stuff.
See, it's a little easier than student teaching though, because like I know every 2 weeks I actually get a paycheck instead of just like working for free.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. A little reimbursement for your troubles.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's before we get into getting into what's going on in the CCHA and stuff this year, we're going to throw it to our first guest right away here. And obviously every guest this season, again, thank you to Maverick Sports Bar and Grill, Maverick Sports Bar and Grill, for coming on this year as a sponsor. So today's player interview is brought to you by Maverick Sports Bar and Grill, located on Front Street. Mavericks is just a short walk away from the Mayo, making it the perfect spot for a pregame meal and drink. With penalty box booths, more Maverick memorabilia than the bookstore, fantastic food, a mini jumbotron, and a wide variety of drinks, you'll feel right at home as a member of the Mav fam. Be sure to stop in next time you're hanging out downtown Mankato. Let's throw it over to this week's guest. All right, Maverick fans, we are pumped to welcome this player back for his second appearance on the Chattin Mavericks podcast. Last season, he was an absolute backbone to the best defensive core in the nation, posting a nation-leading save percentage and goals against average. For his performance, he was recognized with countless awards, most notably a Hobie Baker Top 10 finalist, Mike Richter Award finalist, CCHA Goaltender of the Year, and CCHA Player of the Year. Without further ado, Maverick fans, this is Alex Tracy. Tracer, what's happening, man? Lots has happened since we last had you on.
Yeah, no, first, thanks for having me back. Feels good to be officially a recurring guest. It's definitely an honor. I was hoping I'd have a little more firepower coming into this meeting. I know me and Colin were kind of going back and forth before the game on Monday. We don't need to spend too much time on that, but my Bears had a very, very rough showing. So I think congratulations. I just want to I had to get in front of that before that got brought up. But,
well, at least you weren't caught off guard. It's kind of expected.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's tough when you watch your opponent play the worst 3 quarters of football ever and still lose the game. That's bad for morale. So, season's over. We're looking forward to the draft. So I guess that's the bright side, but that's every year.
Senior Bears correspondent Alex Tracy on the show here, so love to keep checking in throughout the season.
Yeah, dude. I was talking to him. I go, dude, I fell asleep after the pick 6. I texted in the morning. I'm like, holy shit, we won. I didn't even know.
Fun fact, actually, JJ McCarthy played. He played youth hockey at the same organization I did growing up. So he played for the
St. Jude. Way.
Yeah, so he's in 03. So he was at like 2 years below me. So I never played with or against him, but I have buddies who have younger brothers who played directly with him on some of those
Yeah.
teams. It's pretty a
Wow.
pretty cool moment. And he went to, I think he played football at Nazareth High School. So I went to
Yeah.
Mount Caldwell, so I think they played against each other a couple times. So I've heard of him throughout the years coming up, and then to see him rip my heart out on national television. Full circle moment. So, but anyways, thanks for having me, you guys. Appreciate it.
No, of course, that is incredible. So I mean,
What was
getting-
the sorry?
Go
what
for
was
it. No, go for
what
it.
was the scouting report from your buddies on JJ as a hockey player?
I think from the sounds of it, he's pretty solid. Like the way that they made it seem was that he could have pursued a career in either, and then I think he just he loved football. Obviously that was a long time ago, and they were pretty young, but I think just in regards to the passion that he had and the skill that he had at a young age, but I think he was just dominating at football and he loved it. So that was obviously clearly the right choice.
Sure. Yeah, sounds like it might work out for him. So
yeah. So basically he's got everything going for him. So it's no problem.
Well, to get over on the hockey talk, I wanted to go back to last season just to kind of start things out before we hop to present time. I mean, just the consistency you guys had, the just game in, game out, especially, from you up through your defense and whatnot. Take us through how you get through a schedule like that, and you guys every game, every shift. I mean, you guys you're on your stuff. I mean, how do you get through a season with that level of consistency and being literally the best in the nation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you touched on it a little bit at the beginning. You mentioned that the best defensive core in the country. And I think that's a huge testament to the guys in front of me, like, guys like Murr, Bergie, Soup, Wheels, like what they do night in, night out, penalty kill, and then just in our D zone. And just the way that we defended they really made my job easy in a sense where all I had to do was kind of just focus on that first shot and making that initial save and just having that, it all comes back to that trust factor. It's like I knew that they had my back, and if I were to make a mistake or maybe I let up not the best rebound in the world, like I knew that those guys were going to be there for me to clear that puck out or to box someone out. So when you know that you have guys like that, and that's not just our defensemen too, but our forwards who are coming back, like blocking shots at the point, back checking hard on line rushes, things like that. They just really gave me the confidence to go in there and just do the best that I can, and just play to my ability, knowing that, hey, if anything were to break down or something starts to slip a little bit, I know that they're there for me if anything like that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of while we're on the topic of last season, not to scratch at the wound, hopefully it's healed a little bit since then, but Fargo, I mean, that was an unreal game from a fan perspective until obviously the last couple seconds for Maverick fans. But I mean, you made 42 saves, played 87 minutes of hockey. I mean, how do you get through something like that? Me and Big Bag, we'll touch on a little bit more in the episode, but we just went through, a day of playing hockey at, somewhat of a higher level than, beer league or whatever. And we barely move around today. So take us through how to get through a game with that, with overtime and a half, and just like mentally, physically, how you keep performing it. Because I mean, there were some pretty unreal save sequences in there in the overtime. So
yeah, that game, being a competitor and not the outcome that we wanted obviously stings and that hurts, and that's obviously our goal this year is to get back to that, get back to that same spot and ultimately proceed past that. But being able to look back now in hindsight, like that was one of the coolest experiences ever. But just because my freshman year, we went to the tournament and same spot in Fargo to play St. Cloud, and that was an unbelievable experience. Just being able to be a part of that whole week and with the group that we had, being able to be in the lineup and be able to go out there and compete this year was definitely made it special. And you mentioned, it was a grind, especially going from the end of regulation into the first overtime and ultimately the second overtime. Like there was a lot of, had to stay hydrated, whether it was through having snacks like in between periods and just trying to find any way possible to keep that energy. But when the stakes are that high and, it's that type of game against that type of team, it's just, compete comes through at that point, and just having so much fun playing the game like that. Especially through the first and second overtime when the Gopher fans, the UMass fans, like started to fill into the building too, waiting for their game to start. Like by when it started the second overtime, the whole place was packed. So that was definitely an experience that I'll never forget, and just was super proud of the way that we battled, especially against, you know, the ultimately the eventual national champion
Yeah.
team, and just knowing that we were that close to, you know, moving on and continuing to play for a national championship is something that is definitely giving us a lot of motivation and inspiration heading into this season.
Absolutely. I think, and I'll throw it to you, Big Bag, but not us just saying it, but a lot of people in college hockey, like Mavericks gave Western probably their hardest game of the tournament. So it's definitely something to hold on your shoulders for this season, like you said. So Big Bag, I'll throw it to you.
Well, kind of staying on that track of the tournament last year, maybe more on the fan side, people are kind of freaking out a little bit about NIL and certain players getting certain amounts of money and maybe potentially causing disparity across the college hockey landscape. But and maybe top to bottom, you might start to see that happen. But in the tournament last year, the eventual national champion had to win 2 double overtime games. So do you really see that happening? I mean, I feel like the parity is as good as it's ever been, no matter what NIL has as far as an impact on the game. Do you feel, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, you know, when it comes down to it, especially in the sport of hockey, like especially when you get to that stage of the season where all it takes is one game, and you're moving on, it's, you know, really anything can happen. We see it year in, year out of teams who, you know, might not expect to make a run or upset a top ranked team. Like it happens. That's just the nature of hockey. And I think especially, um, you know, if you just look within our program as well, like the amount of turnover that we've had from year to year the last couple of years, like, you know, it's kind of starting to become a broken record of going into every season of like, oh, what's going to happen? Like all these new guys, like the bunch of turnover. It's this specific season of this coaching staff or like whatever it may be. But I think that's what we really value what we do here in the summer of, you know, getting here. You know, everyone's here taking a class, you know, we're putting in work in the gym, on the ice, and then just overall as a group, just getting tight and connected so that by the time the season comes around, like we're ready to hit the ground running. So, and the energy is the same going into this season. Like, yes, we have a lot of turnover from whether it was from portal or freshmen coming in or people leaving, like whatever that looked like. The group that we have here is hungry and ready to go, and everyone knows what was built beforehand, and especially with what this program has done in the past. And there's that expectation level and that standard that comes with putting on a Maverick jersey, and everyone's ready to buy into that. And, you know, at the end of the day, no one cares about what other schools are doing or what this dollar amount, like whatever that is. Like, we're here to play hockey and we're ready to go for the start of the season.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's awesome to hear. Juts, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah. So what drew you to be a goaltender instead of, like, let's say forward or defense? Like, what made you go, I'm going to stand in front of the puck for some reason?
Yeah, so I actually started off being a defenseman. I don't know. Did I tell this story on the pod last time I was on about how I became a goalie? I can't quite remember.
I don't think so.
3-on-3 tournament.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect.
We got new content.
Yeah. so I originally started out as a defenseman. So actually, let me back it up even further. But I started skating pretty late. You know, most hockey players say they started skating when they were 2 or 3, or, you know, they grew up just being on the ice. For me, like, no one in my family played hockey at all before me. So it was right around when the Blackhawks were starting to get good again. So I was about 7 or 8 years old when I started skating. And so originally I was a defenseman. So I went out there and, you know, I loved like that environment. Never really thought about being a goalie except playing, you know, knee hockey in the basement with my siblings or friends or whatever that was. But then, so I played 1 year. So my first year of hockey mites as a defenseman, but then going into that next season during the summer, we had a 3-on-3 tournament at our local rink. And so we get there for the day of the first, it actually might all have been one day, but so we get there for the day of the tournament. And And all of a sudden our goalie didn't want to play goalie anymore. So we're like, all right, well, shoot, like we kind of need a goalie to go out there and compete. You know, I being a defenseman already, like, you know, I just kind of had that defensive mindset. So I was like, all right, like it kind of interested me. So I was like, yeah, sure. Like I'll throw on the pad. So me and that kid ended up switching gear. So he wore, I don't know if he wore my gear. He had his own already, but I started wearing his goalie equipment. So we go out there and play a couple games, and I don't know what it was, but I was just feeling it. And we make it all the way to the championship game. And, you know, I don't know what the reasoning was, but we're about to hit the ice for the championship game. And all of a sudden he's like, hey, you know, I want to go back to playing goalie. And I'm like, are you serious? Like now? And I'm wearing this kid's equipment, so I can't, you know, I don't know. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So we switch back. I'm back in my gear playing defenseman, and we just get smoked. It was like, I remember being so mad, like my prideful 9-year-old self in the car on the way home. I tell my parents, I'm like, Mom, like I'm never letting that happen ever again. Like I'm going to be a goalie next year. I don't care. I don't care what you guys say. Like this is what's happening. You know, they kind of just shrugged it off at first. And they're like, oh yeah, like whatever, like sure, you're serious. But then like 2 weeks down the road, I'm still like every day coming up to my parents being like, so when are we going to get goalie gear? When are we getting goalie gear? And then
worst,
like, oh,
worst
like,
words for a hockey parent could ever hear right there. Is like, when
yeah,
can we go get hockey gear?
Yeah, they definitely weren't thrilled that I was so passionate about it. And then they're like, oh, like, dang, this kid's serious.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I mentioned no one in my family played hockey before, so we just run to the local plate again. I had like a player helmet as my first goalie helmet. Like my pads were tied on the wrong legs. I was wearing player skates. Like it was just a gong show. Like I had no idea what we were doing. But then I fell in love with it. That was my first year playing goalie, so about 9 years old, and then finally got some wiser counsel on what goalie equipment actually looks like and what that process is like. And so, you know, it's pretty funny story about how I became a goalie in the first place. But you know, who knows what that? It's funny. Sometimes I'll think back on that and wonder, just like if I would have stayed a defenseman or never became a goalie, like where my career would have went if I'd even still be playing hockey in the first place. So, you know, looking back on it, that what that kid did, I'll keep his name out of it, but you know, I definitely owe him a steak dinner or something.
I was going to say, you giving him anything like a letter or something like you did this? I was just saying, like, did you give him do you write him a letter or like a thank you note or anything? You got to.
Yeah, no, I definitely should. I definitely should reach back out and find, you know, definitely link back up with them.
So Tracer, going into this season now, I mean, you kind of touched on it when we talked about Fargo, but what can you take from last season and bring it into this season to kind of translate into a game? Is there things that you like specifically worked on over the summer? Was it more of just like trying to maintain, you know, just staying healthy, whatever? How are you getting ready for this season, you know, knowing what you know now going through a season like last season?
I think what really helped me last season, and you know, yes, there's a lot of technical things that go into it in terms of the position specifically.
Hard covers, right?
Yeah, hard covers, like certain fundamentals, like pushing and pulling, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what really took my game to the next level was just was the mental side of it completely. And you know, I'm someone who throughout growing up and throughout my career, has dealt with a lot of performance anxiety going into games, you know, like battling a lot of thoughts. You know, I'm a big overthinker. So I analyze situations and like, oh my gosh, like what if this happens? What if this happens? And the real breakthrough that I experienced last year was just like, hey, like I'm going to trust the work that I put in and the preparation that I'm doing throughout the week. And then it's just about going out there and competing and playing. And then whatever happens, right? You know, if I, you know, just understand like, hey, I did all this throughout the week. I understand the opponent. I know what I need to do to go out there and execute and succeed. Then now I'm able to just go out there and play freely. Where in the past it was like, oh, you know, I get out onto the ice and it's like, oh, well, what if I give up a goal at my first shot? Or what if we don't get off to a good start or things like that and stuff like that, where, you know, thoughts do have that power to, kind of make you tense up a little bit and not
Absolutely.
play to your full potential. So, and like my faith plays the biggest role in that as well. And just like through prayer and being able to give that anxiety to the Lord, really helped me throughout the year, just be able to play freely, and not worry about circumstances that happen. Because ultimately, like, my identity used to be so deadlocked in hockey that, like, when hockey was going great, like, awesome, I felt on top of the mountain, like on top of
Yeah.
like everything was going awesome. Um, but then as soon as like adversity would hit, or we're not winning games, or I'm not playing my best, it's like all of a sudden it comes crashing down. Right now, my confidence was just always going up, down, up, down, up, down, and could never just find that consistency. But now just knowing that like my identity and my purpose is secure in Christ and what He has done for me, allows me to just like, hey, now I can just go out there and play these games freely. Like knowing that, hey, yes, I'm a competitor and I still want to win. Like I want to win. I want to win a conference title. I want to win a national championship more than anyone. But knowing that, like, if that doesn't happen, that my identity and my purpose isn't on the line anymore, it just allows me to play with such freedom that I never experienced beforehand. So especially with last season, whenever me personally, or even like as a team as a whole, whenever things started not going our way, it was so much easier to bounce back from that or battle through it and to be able to, hey, maybe we didn't have a great start of this game. Maybe I gave up a goal on the first like 3 shots or whatever it is. Like my ability to now like flush that and just focus on what's next, really helped take my game to the next level, and is a huge factor in why I had the year that I did last year.
Yeah, I think that's super powerful. And I think that I hope like some young goalies are listening to this thing kind of, because I mean, I played goalie all through high school, and same way. I mean, before games, I was almost throwing up. I was so nervous, and it was just big nine hockey playing against Campbell Psychos back in the day. But like it was, goaltenders, it's such a hard position mentally and physically, and I think that's great stuff for kids to take into their game, and hopefully ease those nerves a little bit, because it is a nerve-wracking role. Everyone's looking at you, and all your mistakes are on the board. So
yeah, and there's like that's the thing. There's so many things
one
that
game of goalie,
out of your control too. That have, you can go out there and be as prepared as possible and go and play your best game possible, and the outcome still doesn't go your way. Whether it's like bad bounces, or refs, or the other team plays really well. Like there's things that you have no control over that can influence the outcome. So like if you're always finding your confidence from things like from the outcome, then you're never going to be consistent in the way that you feel and the way that you play. But if you find your confidence and your, just your strength and your foundation from like the work that you're putting in, and just the fact that you're going to go out there and just give it your all and do the best that you can, well, then all of a sudden you find just consistency in the way that you prepare and you play, because ultimately that is in your control, regardless of the things that may happen in a hockey game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a good point you bring up, because I mean, how many 1-goal like 0-1 losses? There's a couple of those last year. It's like, well, it's 1-0 overtime losses. It's like it's easy to get frustrated, something like that. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's you played the part, and if the other team, you get goalied, right? And it happened our way, it happened the other way. So big bag, I'll throw it to you.
Well, just speaking of the anxiety of being goalie, I forget the goalie's name, but he made a quote once. He said, how would you like it if somebody came to your job and every time you made a mistake, a big red light went off and people started chanting at you? I always thought that was a funny quote, because they put so much pressure on the goalies, even though sometimes it's not even close to their fault. But I'm glad you brought up your faith, because I wanted to ask you about the I Am Second organization that you work with. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is, how you got involved, and how people can learn more about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I Am Second as a whole is an organization that it's a faith-based organization that you go on. They do these things called I think a lot of people have maybe seen, like, it's called the white chair films. So that people in like celebrities or well-known people who have testimonies, that's how it started years ago. But it's basically just like, whether it's like through church planning or discipleship, like it's global in terms of ministry. I'm a part of a group called Team Second, which is the college campus ministry piece of I Am Second.
cool.
So it's filled with about, I want to say 45 maybe student athletes across the country who prioritize, making Jesus known and making disciples and obeying the Great Commission of Matthew 28 to go and make disciples of all nations, baptize in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So just equipping student athletes on campuses all across the country to be confident in sharing their faith, sharing the gospel, making disciples, planting churches, whatever that looks like in ministry. So I joined that about a year ago. So I'm going into my second year with them. But yeah, you could a quick online Google search, like you just type in I Am Second, like they have so many different things that you can to learn more about them, whether it's through videos or other ways to learn more about what it is that they do. But I've been so blessed by that ministry and the things that I have learned to be able to implement here at Minnesota State, whether it's with my team or fellow students on campus, and just see the way that I've been able to use those tools, especially within our team, because like the way the Lord's been working within our group in the last year and a half has been amazing. Like we had a Bible study that just a couple of years ago was just me and 2 other guys, and now it's grown to, I believe we have 10 guys who come every single week.
Awesome.
And baptize 3 of them this summer. So like it's been super, super, super cool to see that, the Lord is moving here in Mankato. And like, it's been unbelievable. Like it's kind of hard to put it into words. It's been, it's been very grateful for the way that the Lord's been using some of those things.
For people or for students that are, here on campus in town, where can they go? Is there a spot locally that they can go and kind of learn more if they're interested? I know, like, especially past couple weeks, there's just been some pretty terrible stuff out there in the world. So I know probably a lot of people looking for some answers and looking for some guidance with that stuff. What's the best resource here in town for stuff like that?
Yeah, so in town, like there's different, like I'm also a part of FCA here on campus. So we do usually once a week. We've normally done it on Sunday nights in the past. I think that might change this year, or at least maybe this semester. But the Hosanna Highland Church, I think is what it's called. That's where we typically meet. I think we're going to be doing our huddles there again this year, but that's an option. But there are a ton of different ministries on campus, but also like just even for me personally too, like if if you're listening to this and this is something that you've been thinking about, or the Lord's been putting on your heart like lately, or this is, you have questions, like feel free to reach out to me on any social platform. I mean, besides X, that's probably the one I don't have. Shoot me a DM or like whatever that looks like. I live for these type of conversations, and if you were curious about knowing more about who Jesus is, what he truly did for you personally, and what that means for your life, like that's those are the questions that I live for. There's different avenues you can take with that, but me personally, like I do FCA on campus. In terms of I Am Second, that's more like there isn't like a home base, or there isn't like a place to go for that on Mankato's campus. That's more so like just as a group, we're discipled and trained on tools like that, and then sent on to our campuses. Like we have a summit every year in different places. Like this past year, it was in Dallas. We all got together and like they did a full week-long training of us, and then they just send us out back to our campuses. But yeah,
that's awesome.
We're actually looking to maybe get like a booth somewhere on campus and have like a day of being able to share more information about what I Am Second is, but more so prioritizing like sharing the gospel and stuff like that. So definitely keep an eye out for something like that.
Yeah, if we can help getting the word out too, let us know. We'll always plug it on the show. So
yeah, we're looking to do actually in January. We're looking to do a it's called a kingdom growth training.
Okay.
So some of the leadership group from I Am Second is going to be coming here somewhere in that time frame. They usually do it somewhere January, February every year, but we're looking to get, as many people there. It's just if you're interested in learning more about some of the tools, what that look like, and how to implement that into your own life. We're gonna be releasing more details on that as it comes through. But keep an eye out for that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like great stuff. I mean, just putting yourself out there too for availability, reach out. That's incredible stuff, Alex. That's super awesome. So, Juts, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so you guys did a camp in Chaska, right, with Charchenko?
Yeah, we tried to. We didn't get enough people to sign up for that, just because. Yeah,
okay.
I think the location of it was a little. I think that's kind of where it fell through a little bit, where it's like
that was my hometown, so I was like, crap, that would have been cool if it worked.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to do that again in the future. I think, but I want to get one here in Mankato, just because like
people in Mankato would do it.
Like it's hard to market to people or to to spread that information to people in Mankato, and then be like, oh hey, but the camp's in
go to Chaska. Yeah. So, what for you? I know each goalie. I don't want to like give this away, but for you, what's your hardest shot to face? Like the one timer, backhander.
Ooh.
Like what is the one thing that Tracy's like shit?
That's a good question. Should I just say the exact opposite? So then people will like
it
out and then
whatever you're thinking.
If there was ever a hand to play close to the vest, this might be it.
I mean, I don't know if there is any team's going to use this as like a tool, but like, who knows? Maybe like, Tracy's been here. We got him. Thanks, Jack, man. It's our fault.
Yeah, I think just in goaltending in general, and this is obviously very helpful to any, of the hockey players out there that might be listening who aren't goalies. But anytime you have the ability to change the angle, whatever kind of shot that looks like that is the toughest thing as a goalie, to be able to, especially when you get locked on a shot, then all of a sudden the angle changes and it's like, okay, like, do you have the ability to slightly adjust, but you're probably also dropping at the same time? It's, it's very hard to kind of decipher in that small window of like, hey, am I able to, whether it's like a tiny shuffle or maybe a slide or pushing into it, but then all of a sudden if a guy changes the angle but then goes back the other way, like there's a lot of different avenues that a shooter can take simply by just, hey, this is where the goalie thinks that I'm releasing it from on my blade. Now all of a sudden he's locked on the shot. Now I'm changing the angle, bringing it somewhere else, and it opens up more net, maybe causes the goalie to move, maybe he doesn't move. It's, it just opens up a lot of different things that the goalie has to think about. So hopefully that isn't, I think that's pretty common knowledge for, maybe at this level. So hopefully that doesn't result in anything, but
doesn't give away too many. I mean, I guess we can go to our other goaltending senior correspondent after yesterday, Big Bag. Is that track? What's the hardest shot for you?
I mean, the ones that are coming at you, anything that gets anywhere near you, those are the hardest ones to stop. I tell you what.
the ones that hit the net.
Loves it when they miss the net.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the ones where you're just stepping out there and they're already going head high. Those are
when your first thought is, geez, I hope I don't fall down. The shot is, I mean, you're not even thinking about where the puck's going. You're just trying to make it like look like you maybe sort of know what you're doing, but you have no clue.
Yeah. And actually, this is actually kind of changing topics, but going back to what you said earlier before you asked your last question, Big Bag, you mentioned that quote about like, oh, how would you like it if people came up to you and there was thousands of people screaming at you for failing at your job? I don't know if this makes me crazy or not, but like I love that. I much rather prefer that to happen than like, that's why okay, Mankato fans, I absolutely love you guys and I love playing in front of you guys, but I love playing on the road simply because like there's something about going into an opponent's building and like playing the villain role in a sense that just like fuels me so much. Cause like it's a lot better when you give up a goal and then you look around and there's whatever 10,000 fans like on their feet going crazy, like screaming, like, okay, like this is kind of cool. Like bullhorns going off, like it's a party almost. But when you're at home and you give up a goal and it's just, you can hear a pin drop and everyone's just staring at you like disappointment. That's one of the worst feelings ever. Feel like you let 5,000 people down. So,
Should we start cheering then? Is that what you need? Is that what you're telling us?
Everyone just starts going nuts.
That's one thing I've never understood. Well, I shouldn't say never understood because I participated, but when the student section, when we get scored on, we turn our backs. And I'm like, part of me, like when I first came here, I'm like, this seems kind of counterintuitive a little bit. It's like, we're not like to a player be like, oh, they're turning our backs on us. And that's not what it means, but it's like, maybe we all bring like my dad, when my dad grew up going to some Ferris games back in the day, and they'd all bring newspapers in the student section. So another team would score, just read the newspaper for 30 seconds and get back to the game. So maybe we got to implement some changes there to make everything feel a bit better in the mail.
It's like you give up a goal at home and it's like, dang, like I just disappointed all these people. You give up a goal on the road, it's like, all right, well, at least they're having some fun at least. So.
They spilled their beers or something.
Yeah. Like when we played at North Dakota 2 years ago, like that was one of the coolest experiences ever. Like the Friday night was really tough. I got pulled. I think it was like 3 goals on the first 8 shots, I think 12 minutes in, but the Saturday night ended up going a lot better. But I remember one of the goals that went in, like I just looked up and seeing like all the people that were going. Yeah, I remember just like thinking like, dang, like this is kind of cool. and then 5 minutes later, I'm on the bench next to one of my D-men. So that wasn't fun for very long. But yeah, something about going on the road and just like, that's why I'm pumped for the road series that we got, like being able to go play in a place like Omaha, playing in Wisconsin, like places like that. Those are going to be very, very fun trips to be on.
Well, I mean, what a perfect segue, because that's my next question. Obviously, there's buzz around this Wisconsin series since it came out last year. I mean, it's been no question that with both programs' history now with the previous staff and players and stuff like that, this is one of those series that everyone's had circled for a while. But one of the reasons is you're very possibly could be playing against head-to-head one of your former goalie partners in Eli. I mean, is that something you've thought about at all? Do you even think about that? Obviously, we're weeks away and we have games in between now and then, but is that something you've thought about at all, or not really?
Yeah, I think obviously when he first committed there, that he was going to be playing there this season, that was definitely something in mind. And Eli, like he was like unbelievable kid, unbelievable goalie. Nothing but great things to say about him. So it sucked seeing him go. But I think at the end of the day, like we're just really focused on who we have in our locker room, just making sure that we're as prepared as possible for that weekend. Like we know all the storylines and the stakes that are behind that, and really looking at our roster, it's really just now 3-4 of us that are at least we're here when Hasty and Notter and all of them were here with us. But everyone understands the history behind it and knows like the importance of that weekend. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a battle. And I think being able to go on the road and play there is something that's going to be really fun and special. Because, something about, the bus ride and being with each other the entire time in the hotel, like just that camaraderie that gets built, and to be able to go out and, go into their building and take 2 games. Like that's going to be really fun. It's going to be a big test. So I'm excited to go out there and compete with the guys that we have in our locker room.
Yeah, the Cole Center's a pretty sweet venue. I've never actually seen a hockey game there, but I've been there. It's a pretty cool barn, so that'll be fun to get rowdy in for a little bit. So
yeah,
what about you?
You guys heading over there for that?
Well, here's my situation is when for whatever reason my best friend's fiance and the Maverick hockey overlords that schedule the hockey games didn't collaborate, and there's a wedding on that weekend, so I've got some duties on Friday that I got to attend to. So I'm hoping I'm there for at least a Thursday game. I'm gonna try to head over there, and luckily my hometown's there in Winona, so it's kind of almost a halfway point. So go there, go back to Winona, sleep there, and then come back to Mankato for the wedding the next day. But yeah, no, these guys are getting on the bus, right, you guys?
Yeah, we're taking a Blue Line Club bus.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
Well, I mean, let me ask you guys, how are you guys? What are your thoughts going into that weekend?
Big bag.
I've been jacked for this game for ever since I first heard that it was going to happen. I had been wishing for it to happen for, as long as possible. But when they actually announced it, I was like, oh man, I'm not missing this for nothing.
It's huge for me because it's MEA weekend, so I don't have to take any
Yeah.
PTO. I was like, there's just no way I'm going to be able to go. And the big wig's, dude, it's MEA weekend. I'm like, shit, I'm in.
Yeah. And then like we were kind of, I'm sure it was in the works, as I'm not taking credit for it by any means, but we were kind of bugging Scott about doing a bus, like a fan bus out there. Like, this is going to be a huge weekend. We got to get as many people out there as possible. And then when they actually announced that, I'm like, yep, doing that. And I'm going to be out
You mean
there.
you don't have to drive? Sweet.
Yeah. But I actually went out there for Hastings' first home game. I had seats right behind the bench, wore my Maverick gear, and I could tell that he knew somebody behind him was wearing purple, but he wouldn't actually turn around and look at me. So I'm just like, "What's up, dude?" Me and my son right behind the glass in our Maverick gear. It was awesome. So I'm super jacked for this. This should be a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It's only 2.5 or 2.5, I believe, from Chicago too. So I'm hoping that ton of families
good call
from there too. So that'll be exciting. I know my parents are definitely coming. Don't get to see them a lot throughout the season. I got 3 younger siblings who, 2 of them are in high school, one of them in 8th grade now, and so they've got their own sports.
Yeah, they're busy
running around with. So the more that I'm able to see them is better. So that's a lot of investment in that weekend. So super pumped for it. And, we're getting close, so we're ready.
I think it's like a month away, isn't it? Just about.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we're about 27 days from the
Omaha,
I believe.
Yeah.
Omaha series is what? Isn't the 11th, isn't it?
Yeah.
10th, 11th, I believe.
Yep. So it's coming up. It's exciting. Being in the facility yesterday, I know I'm just like, oh, it's almost back. We're almost ready to get rocking here. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Tracy, I know we want to be respectful of your time, so I guess you guys got one more for him, and then we can probably let you on your way here. Thanks again for your time. This has been unbelievable.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
I got no serious questions left, so you guys can go for it.
What about you, Big Bag?
I mean, I got handful more, but I can just one more. We were at the camp yesterday. We had the privilege of walking through the facility. You're sitting in it right now as we speak with you, but gorgeous facility. It was absolutely amazing to take a look at it. But Coach Ward was saying that you guys have access to it 24 hours a day. If I were to show up at 2 a.m., who would I find there?
Probably. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't find anyone at that hour, but
okay.
I even some hours outside of the rink as well. I remember coming on my visit here and seeing the nutrition center and then the couches there, the homework area with the TVs, and there's an Xbox and PlayStation there. And I remember thinking dang, people must hang out here all the time. I know I definitely would be too. And then you get here and you go through the grind of each day and consider how much time we do spend at the rink already with our lifts and everything that goes into pre-practice, post-practice, recovery, stuff like that. Not a lot of hanging out that goes on here, at least.
That kind of makes sense.
After hours, guys like to get back and do their own thing, get their rest and recovery at home, and homework that guys gotta tend to.
Homework.
Yeah.
Oh, Trace, you're telling me no one's wanting a smoothie?
Homework.
No one wants a smoothie after the bar at 2 a.m. No one's breaking in to make a smoothie after the bar.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's possible.
There's no way it hasn't happened.
I know Wardo was saying that. I mean, there's times where during the season, during the week, you guys can be at the rink for 7, 8, 9 hours a day, just for the time you actually have to be there. So it kind of makes sense that maybe days that you don't have to be there for that long, you kind of want to go see other things.
Yeah, I'm someone that I'm kind of wired that way too. I'm not someone who is gonna spend the Sidney Crosbys, the McDavids of the world who are spending probably 20 hours at the rink every single day. I'm a huge fan of putting in the work, getting what I need to get out of here throughout each day, but then also just be able to unwind and do other things like outside of the rink as well, and just really keep like in the summers. Like I don't skate that much. I do obviously here for our summer session, but I just like to find other things to do, like play a lot of golf in the summer, spend time with family. Just kind of I like to really get away from the rink and get that mental reset, so that when this time of the year rolls around, and especially the later months, you get into December, January, some of the maybe grinded out days, like it's all so like I'm motivated, I'm hungry, I'm ready to get back at it by the time the puck drops in the fall. So you know, that's definitely something that I've found has really helped me stay fresh and charged up throughout the entirety of a season.
Absolutely. Well, I got one more serious question that I'll throw at the Juts for his non-serious question, I guess. But so the line change collective, quickly, how has that progressed from when it started for you as an athlete? Like, obviously it's been around for a couple of years now. How has it changed? How has it helped you? What does that look like for you as an athlete here at Minnesota State?
Yeah, it's been surreal. And I remember when they first announced that it was being a thing. It was being founded, and a lot of guys like we didn't really know what that meant or what that was going to entail. It's like, oh well, that seems like something that you need to build up on, and that's something that will be more so utilized in the future. But the way that the people over at the collective have just been like pouring into that and just really dedicating time and effort and energy to getting that going, and putting on events like camps at the rink, or autograph signings at Buffalo Wild Wings, or whatever that looked like. It's been awesome, and it's really helped guys out who maybe don't have the ability to go and get like a job on the side to be able to supplement what they're doing on the ice. So it's definitely helped us all, like financially in a sense, putting some money in our pockets to be able to help with like groceries or gas or rent, some of the things like that. So the fact how quick it went from being created to then actually benefiting the guys on in our program has been super cool, and to see that the ideas that they have moving forward is super cool, and it's very encouraging, not only for us now, but the future Mavericks as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to do a little bit of acting yourself, right? There's a couple of Snell commercials I've seen, so those must have been pretty fun.
Yeah, like one me and Murr with McNaughton. That one was fun. That was a good day of filming. Don't know if we have a career outside of hockey, but
There was some concern you were going to forego your senior year for an acting career. We were a little worried there for a second.
There's a little selfish part of me, the scene when you guys were in the car listening to the Olay song. I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool if they turned on a Chattin Mavericks episode in the car. All right, the Olay song works too, but whatever.
Yeah, no, hey, that's a great idea. Definitely keep that in memory bank.
All right, Juts, send us home here. What do you got?
All right, I got a couple rapid fire stupid questions. Ready?
I got you.
All right, favorite music genre?
Favorite music genre? Well, outside of, let's see, I listen to a lot of like worship music, Christian music, but I'm also a huge fan of like I like country. Alternative is a big one. Like I remember when the Red Hot Chili Peppers were in town, they played at the bank. Like I really wanted to go to that one. For like classic rock, I like a mixture of everything. So that's a hard one, but I definitely have to go. If I had to pick a favorite, it'd be worship for sure.
All right, favorite color?
See, it's always between red or green. So if you ask me in the summer, I say green because golf is the only thing on my mind. But I think I'm gonna have to stick with red. Red's been my baby for my entire life.
It's the color. It's the color of the post. That makes sense. I mean,
all right,
they're your best friends.
A cat or a dog person?
Dog, 100%. I like cats. Don't get me wrong, but come on, dogs.
All right, last one here. What's your biggest fear?
Ooh.
So my biggest fear, believe it or not, is elevators. I hate them. I hate elevators. So when we go on the road, if I'm on a floor lower than let's say floor 6, I'm taking the stairs every single time. Especially with a team. And like, that's the thing, the guys all know that I have this fear too. So like if I hop in an elevator and then all of a sudden 10 guys follow suit, they're jumping around, they're pressing buttons, they're getting to the point where like the door starts closing and like the buzzing's going off. Like, no, I sprint out of there. I'm out. I don't know. I can't tell you where it's from. Like, I mean, I guess you'd kind of describe that as like claustrophobia, but like I wouldn't really say I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But just the idea of like getting stuck in an elevator is like my biggest fear in the world. So
That's crazy.
I'm a big stair guy. So I think when I was a kid, I was watching a movie. I wasn't watching a movie. I was walking past the TV, and there was a scene of these people stuck in an elevator, and then it like caught on fire, and then they couldn't get out.
No.
I think from that point on, it's just like me and elevators don't get along.
That's crazy.
That's probably weren't expecting that answer, but
No, I mean that'll do it though. I mean,
every last year was snakes or planes.
yeah, those were the two big ones.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of flying either, but I feel like that that's kind of a basic answer. But elevators, no, I don't like it at all. You know what's my favorite? I love the hotels that have like the glass like elevators, like you can see on the outside.
Yeah.
Those I have no problem with, because then if we get stuck, I can feel like, yo, like I'm right here. Help me out. But it's like normal elevators, like especially if I'm the only one in there, like no. Like what if no one finds me, you know?
So escalators are fine?
What's that?
Escalators are good?
Oh yeah. That's like, it has nothing to do with like
open air.
Nothing to do with like movement or like I'm not worried about it free falling or anything. I'm literally petrified of just getting stuck in it and no one knowing that I'm stuck.
So season's over. You're moving on with your career. Biggest moment of your life. You're going to sign a contract with the Chicago Blackhawks, and their office is on the 40th floor of a building. What are you like? You like, hey guys, I'll catch you up there in an hour.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. I'm Shoelace Express up there. I'm like, I'll meet you guys.
That is phenomenal.
Just walk to do his interview.
Where do I sign?
Get me out of here.
I need 5.
Oh,
no,
man.
but that's the thing. Like if the elevator like looks good, it looks modern, like it looks fine, then yeah, whatever, I'll get in there. But like that, you know what I'm talking about, the hotels, like the sketch ones, we were like, okay, it looked like it was
like you're looking in, when was this inspected last? Like
yeah.
Oh, I don't like those initials, kid. I'm getting out.
Certified elevator inspector.
Button is like shattered a little bit. Like, no, I'm out. I'm out of there.
If the call button's worn out, you're like, shit.
Well, Tracy, I mean, thank you so much for your time, man. Before we let you go, you got anything for us? Any comments? Anything you want to plug? Any shout outs?
What how's it feel having your guys being on the Wall of Fame at Mavericks now? I saw the characters you guys got the other week.
Biggest moment of my life.
My ego has never been bigger.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, how about Shelly though? Like, she's just
the
best.
She's phenomenal.
The best.
She just texted me and Cam this morning that she made us more clothes.
Yeah.
Like, she just like, she makes us so like, I was like running low on sweatshirts. I'm not running low on sweatshirts anymore. And it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like, it almost can get like borderline overwhelming where it's like, Shelly, like you
like, let me pay for something.
Yeah, it's like, it's so generous to the point where it's like, I don't need this. Like, you were just so nice. So
no,
yeah,
she's the best. She's just like the embodiment of like Maverick, the Mav fam, Maverick Nation. Like, she is just, I mean, she's everything what Maverick Nation's about. Like, she's the best. So
100%. And if you like that, if you're listening to this and you have not been to Mavericks, like, get down there. Really, like there's not a thing on like it's tough to pick my favorite thing on the menu there because every new thing I try ends up becoming my favorite. So it's
we know what Luigi's is, but
the steak.
Loves
we were making fun of him yesterday.
Yeah, the steak bites, the burgers, it's everything. Go get one of their smash burgers. It'll like it's the best thing that you'll
we had is it the Strando Smash?
Yeah, the Strando Smash.
I was so good.
It is.
It's good.
So good. It's unbelievable.
But yeah, they absolutely nailed the caricatures because my guy doesn't have skates on, which is perfectly fitting.
My guy's just as wide as he is long.
So accurate.
Oh man, that's unreal.
It's awesome. Well, Tracy, you got anything else?
No, that's all I got. Appreciate you guys
Awesome.
having me back on, and it's always a blast talking with you fellas.
No, it's a blast
Yes,
talking to
sir.
you, and best of luck this season. We'll obviously be there, so we'll be maybe if you hear anyone cheering really obnoxiously when you get scored on, it's us just trying to cheer you up.
Trace, have you
It
seen,
just becomes a trend.
have you seen the score of the Bears game?
No, and
I just checked.
I don't want to hear a thing. I don't want to hear a thing.
All right.
Yeah, it's,
I can see both sides that you're saying that because it's bad, but also saying that because it's good. So,
Trace, there's one side you're going to see that it's not. I don't want to say nothing, but
all right. Well,
let's
you've
get
said enough.
your reaction. Let's get your reaction live.
That's so weird that they're the first team to actually quit mid-game and not finish the game. I've never seen that before.
Wait, what happened?
They just walked off. They're like, I've had enough.
Did they actually?
Oh, come on, Colin. No, they didn't.
It's the National Football League, John.
All right, that made it better. Right there.
No, because I just saw like my fantasy group chat, like what's going on in the Bears game. Like this is crazy, and I don't have my TV on, so I thought something actually happened. So like Dan Campbell's such a dick. I thought I'm like my group chat's going crazy, and I'm like, I see you have it on.
Yeah, our Coach Strand, he jokes about it, but there actually might be some truth to it. But he says my ability to respond to adversity is solely based out of just being a Bears fan. Yeah, it's like
52 to
what
21.
this guy is able to endure is simply because of the football team that he roots for. I'm starting to think that he's spot on.
He's on to something there now. Unreal stuff. Well, thanks, Tracer. We appreciate your time, and we'll have to get you back on here later on in the season, chat again. So maybe the Bears will turn things around. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All righty. Thanks, Tracy.
All right, yeah, thank you. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Maverick fans, that was Alex Tracy. Can't thank him enough for his time. I mean, I think that ended up being close to an hour that he was chatting with us. Just kept going in one of those conversations that just couldn't end. So he is the best. I mean, putting himself out there like that too. Like, hey, you got questions? Just DM me on Instagram. Like that's, I mean, who does that? Like that is the best. He's an awesome kid. Mankato is beyond blessed to have him on the team. And going through trying to write this intro for Alex Tracy this year, there's so much to say, and I didn't want to do this 2-minute long intro of every award he got last year, so I'm going to do it now because it's worth talking about. And this is literally just read word for word right off of the men's hockey website, but it's insane. It is literally nuts. So this was just last year, so 24-25 AHCA/CCM All-American Second Team West, Hobie Baker Award Top 10 finalist, Mike Richter Award finalist, CCHA Player of the Year, CCHA Goaltender of the Year, First Team All CCHA, CCHA Student Athlete of the Year, 5 times CCHA Goaltender of the Week, 3 times CCHA Goaltender of the Month, November, February, March, and April, technically. ACHA National Goaltender of the Month in November, CCHA Scholar Athlete Team, CSC First Team Academic All-American, CSC All District, led nation in goals against at a .424, led nation in save percentage at a .946, 10th in the nation in goalie winning percentage, started 39 games for the Mavericks in goal, played 2,317 minutes and 5 seconds, led CCHA third in the nation, recorded 5 shutouts, led CCHA third in the nation, totaled 961 saves, second in the CCHA, sixth in the nation, allowed 55 goals against, 39 at even strength in 38 games. Season high 43 saves against Bemidji, did not allow more than 3 goals against an opponent all season, including playoffs. Made 29 saves to help the Mavericks win the Mason Cup against St. Thomas, and made 42 saves in 87 minutes of play at the NCAA Fargo Regional semifinal against Western Michigan in double overtime. He also posted a shutout in the CCHA semifinal against Bemidji State with 27 saves. So, I mean, that's insane. I know I just talked like fucking 5 minutes about that, but I mean, that is like, I'm out of breath. That's one season.
One season. It's crazy.
It's mind blowing. So, I mean, you guys got anything to take away from that Tracy interview? I mean, just he's the best.
Well, I mean, we're just lucky to have seen the goalies we've seen that have played at the school over the course of however many years, and we still got another season with Tracy, which is unreal. I mean, you read that off, that sounds like a farewell senior year. Like he's coming back again. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. What about you, Jets? You got anything before we move on?
No,
Good to go.
You guys touched on it all.
They literally all. Yeah, he's the best, right? I mean, on the ice, off the ice, he's the best. So, we got another sponsor here on the Chattin Mavericks podcast. We were happy to welcome Played Again Sports Mankato. We are pumped to welcome them to the Chattin Mavericks podcast family here. Come regular season, they will be our our series preview sponsor, but obviously we don't have a series preview yet. So I'll just, throw the ad read in here and get to the CCHA overview. So, so shoot and score at Play It Again Sports. Stop by your locally owned sporting goods store serving Southern Minnesota for 25 years. Whether you're looking for used gear, new gear, we got you covered. Hockey, baseball, softball, golf, wrestling, volleyball, and much more. Don't forget to bring us your used but not used up sports equipment for credit towards your next purchase or cash. Go Mavs. So shout out Played Again for hopping on. Welcome to the family. We're excited to do some stuff with them. So be on the lookout for some social media and interactions like that. So
and for all those people that are looking forward to next year's adult hockey camp, Play It Again is your place to go if you need to get gear or if you forget your skates somewhere or whatever. If you need to grab some gear, you can get it at a good price.
If your dad can't bring you your helmet that I guess has a cage dented in.
I don't need a new cage.
Colin's gonna train for a year now just to hurt us at this next.
Oh, I'm gonna forget how to stop and just flatten Big Bag.
Let's get into it.
Big Bag scared now.
That's the
huh?
price
You
to
kind of
get you
did
there.
get flattened.
I'm in.
Big Bag, I'm gonna put you. You're gonna have to leave on a stretcher.
Yeah, I did. Some dude just absolutely crushed me.
Yeah, he got schmucked. Well, fellas, it's CCHA overview time. I think the best way to go about this, and obviously we're Maverick Hockey Show. We know, like to say that we know the most about the Mavericks, and we're more of a Maverick centric show. The CCHA show is putting out about an hour-long segment on each team. I think they started with Bowling Green maybe, and now they can't tell you. You got to take that up with Don. But they're putting those out a couple every week. The Minnesota State one is out. Alex Micheletti did a good job on there, just kind of breaking down the season and kind of giving a nice broad overview what to expect with Maverick hockey this year. So if you're interested in individual teams, go check those out as they roll out. They're going to do a much better job of anything that we're going to do on here. With that said, though, I think it's important for us to kind of give our picks and kind of, voice our opinions on where we think the league's going to be this year. I can throw it to you, Big Bag, if you want to run down kind of what you're thinking the CCHA is going to shape up to look like this year.
I mean, it's hard. It'd be silly for me not to say the Mavericks aren't going to win the conference again after my rant last episode. But I guess if we're talking about other teams that are probably going to be there at the end, I mean, you got to look at St. Thomas again. They're going to be there with they had some. I mean, they're opening a new arena, which is going to be exciting. Probably have the team jacked up. They got a nice little freshman class coming in.
They have
can't
too
imagine
many players. I heard though, so they're cutting right now.
that's scary, but it's also a good problem to have if you have so much talent that you have to tell people, sorry, this isn't going to work out for you. You can't deny what Rico Blasi has done as much as we tease him and get after him. The reality is he's doing really good things at that school.
Team needs to work.
Yeah, they're still
what are we doing
the social
posting
media
that
team's
this
still
is
the Division
what are we
3
doing
era,
posting that
but
this is the norm to lose big games? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. That video was wild.
That was
tough.
like,
Yeah.
This is the norm.
Tough
You guys
look.
just got blown out.
Yeah.
Norm my ass.
We recruited you to play for championships,
not win them.
well, like, yeah,
You can play for them all you want as long as you don't win them.
The other team I'm looking at obviously is going to be Michigan Tech. I mean, see you later, Joe. The new Michigan Tech is here. Sounds everybody's excited about Coach McCult coming in from Lindenwood. So much so that they got Isaac Gordon to come back.
Isaac Gordon,
good recruiting class.
I think I saw somewhere they're returning. I think like 4 of their top 6 scorers or something like that.
Sure.
From last year. And I mean, obviously Michigan Tech struggled quite a bit towards the end of the year, so I don't but I think I agree with you. They're going to be right there. They're going to be good this year.
And we've heard people talking about how tough it is to play there. That their fans get after it. It's a tough arena to go win at. I think the team that I'm just simply not buying into is Bowling Green. There was so much hype built by how many CHL and WHL players they brought in. I just don't. That doesn't mean much to me. Like, it's new and it's different, but it's you still got to play hockey, and I'm just not too worried about it. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well,
but that's kind of where I stand.
A little insight on that too from that Q&A session that we were talking with some of the coaching staff yesterday. It made a good point where they're kind of like, it's pretty easy. Like, you see these kids putting up these absurd point totals in the WHL and stuff like that, but it's pretty easy to go. Defense. I mean, not easy, but the points are skewed when you're going up against a tired 16-year-old compared to playing in the USHL where you're maybe getting half the points or whatever, but it's the guys are older, the competition, it's a little more physical. So it's just a different parameter to go off of. Just because you got 146 points and some CHL league, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to completely translate to, okay, this team's untouchable. So but again, it's going to be interesting to watch, right? Like, it's
a team that Big Bag didn't mention that I think is going to be good is Augustana. I think Augie's going to. This is their first year.
Sure. They didn't lose anyone.
No, and this is their first year full CCHA, so they'll get the full. And the best part is, I think we're done with that bullshit, like points percentage shit. But I think Augustana's going to be good.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and just because of my love affair with Bemidji the last 2 years, and now I don't have any reason to, I think they're going to finish 9th. They're not even going to make the playoffs.
There you go. Just switch up like that, Jets. That's nuts.
The whole thing was a facade because your cousin was there.
I had to be nice because my cousin. Because I don't want to be mean to my cousin. But Bemidji is my least favorite team by a million.
Fair. That's fair. I get it. Family comes first. Yeah. So I mean, I think for me, I mean, obviously, I'm always going to have the Mavericks on top. I think not even from a homer standpoint. I think that time and time again, the past 3 years have been the same thing where we lost a lot of guys to whatever it was, graduation, to the portal, this, that, whatever. I think it's been the same story the past 3 years. I have no reason to doubt that the guys that they've brought in aren't going to be able to accomplish the goals that I think they want to. So I got the Mavericks on top. Just like you, Big Bag, I've got the Tommies right there with us. I think they're, I mean, you touched on it quite a bit, but I think they're going to be just as much with the new arena. They're going to be pumped up for that. They're going to, they're excited to have, that full, they want to leave the CCHA on a note too. They want to make a statement. So I think they're going to be gunning for blood every game that they can. I think Augie's going to be right there, kind of a top. I'm kind of doing like a little top 4 kind of deal. I think Augie's going to be up there as well. They didn't lose anyone to the portal. I think they're maybe
they were
only
one of
team,
5 teams that didn't. They were one of 5 teams and only CCHA teams.
That's what it is. Yeah. So they didn't lose anyone to the portal. So they've got a good, they've got a good thing going over there. And I mean, they were decent last year. I'd assume that they wouldn't get worse. I guess I would,
I just don't know if playing like, you can fluke into wins once or twice against a team, but you can't fluke into 4 wins against a team.
Right.
Like, that's the only thing that I'm worried about is like,
it's their first true test.
It's their first, like, can they beat? Well, we only play them twice, 3 times, once at home and twice on the road, which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so
it's going to be hard to fluke into those wins. And it's also going to be able to, like, who knows with like the points percentage where they really should have been, like if they were really good or it was just the points percentage that made them look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we swept them pretty easily, didn't we?
Yeah. No,
I think.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember that series. Yeah. I remember thinking at the time, I was like, we really need to sweep these guys. And we did. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, and then right after that in the top 4, I got Michigan Tech. I think they're gonna be right there. You could interchange my top 4 except for Mankato. I think that there's gonna be it's gonna be a shuffle the deck every week as to who's beating who, outside of our homer take. But after that, I got Bowling Green kind of in the middle of the pack. I don't really know. No one really knows how to judge that. I just there's no way to know what these players are going to look like when they get here. So there's no reason to put them super low or put them super high. I got that right in the middle. Right after that, I got Ferris State. I think Ferris is going to come off. They got a new coaching staff in there, a bunch of new players. I think they're going to be better than they were last year. I see them. I think they ended up finishing a little bit higher. They kind of went on a run there for the farewell tour for Bob Daniels, but I think they're going to be decent. I think the new coach bump could help them out. I could also see that just being terrible for them too, and not being able to figure anything out. So who knows, but I'd like to think that they're going to be a little bit more competitive next year with, new blood in there. Then after that, I mean, you got Lake State, Northern, and Bemidji. I don't see any of those teams being a threat to the top 4 personally. I just
Northern,
yeah, I don't know. That's just me, but who knows, right? That's the fun of it. We don't really know right now. Those are just the takes. I mean, you guys got anything more? 9. Yeah, I guess that's the only locked in one. Jutz is saying that.
That's the only lock. Nope, 1 and 9 are locked in. Mankato 1, Bemidji 9.
It's a shit shoot the rest of the way.
Yep.
But I mean, you guys got anything more? Bag.
As long as Bemidji's 9th, we're 1. Or St. Thomas could be 9th. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Leaving this, NCHC would be furious.
Yeah, I mean, St. Thomas, it's their last chance for wins for a while, right? Because when they go out to the NCHC, like it'll be struggle cities.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. It's gonna be a little bit of an awakening for those fellas. So. One thing I think Michigan Tech, I think the non-conference schedule for the league though is kind of exciting. I think Tech plays University of Minnesota. That's an odd, kind of an odd, you really don't see that. So
scared to play anyone good.
Yeah. So it's going to be nice to be able, I'll be the biggest Tech fan in the world that weekend that they're playing the U, because the U is supposed to be pretty good this year. So, I mean, if they can pick up some points, some pairwise percentage
good
stuff off them, good old Pritchard. If we can pick up some stuff off them, I think, that would be, or if they can pick up some points off of the U and we can get some pairwise stuff and make the CCHA, beating CCHA teams actually meaningful in the pairwise this year, that would be super welcomed as well compared to last year. So, fellas, you got anything more? Or should we send it over to our second interview here? I know this is a highly anticipated one. So
it is a very weird feeling to cheer for other CCHA teams during non-conference play.
Yeah.
Like, it has to happen.
Yeah.
Like we all need them to win, and then as soon as that's over, it's like, all right, you're dead to
Fuck you guys. Looks like we just lost Juts, and we're gonna let him back in. But yeah, so I'd say let's throw it over though. TJ, he's been the voice of the Mavericks at the Blake and at the Mayo for the past like a billion years. No, I'm just kidding. He's been the voice of the Mavericks forever, and he just hung him up. So he was gracious enough to give us a bunch of his time. We talked to him last week. So I mean, unbelievable guy. If you didn't know his name before, you're going to go it now. Some pretty awesome stories in there too. So we're going to throw it to him, and we'll be back to just kind of wrap up the show. Maverick fans, our next guest has dedicated over 20 years to Maverick hockey and football as a public address announcer. For his dedicated talents, he is inducted into the Maverick Athletics Hall of Fame in 2024 under the Jim Schaefer Service Award. Most notably, he's the voice you hear at the beginning of every episode of Chattin Mavericks. He recently announced his retirement from the mic here in Mankato and has graciously made the time to come on the show today. Welcome to the Chattin Mavericks podcast, TJ Palesotti. TJ, we can't thank you enough for your time. I mean, we have so much to talk about. I mean, just thank you. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
I have two beers. I'm prepared to talk for so long. So
perfect.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I've listened to every podcast, mostly the beginning and end and not the middle part, but every podcast.
That's when the best quality audio is on. So I don't blame you.
Chattin Mavericks, skip the middle.
I'll get you a t-shirt here soon.
Perfect. So TJ, I mean, let's just start out from the beginning. I mean, how'd you get into radio and public address, and how'd you kind of get hooked up with Mankato State and doing, the athletics there?
Yeah. Oh, you said Mankato State, man. They're going to be after you. You're going to get a text from Scotty now,
And it even says Minnesota State Mankato on my shirt. Sorry, Scott.
But to keep it as brief as possible, I got into radio sort of by accident. I always tell people I really wanted to be an athlete, but I wasn't good enough to be an athlete. So what can I do to still be involved with athletes and sports? So I wanted to be a physical therapist. And then I kind of looked into that and the cost and the amount of school and was like, no, I don't want to do that. And so I stumbled into radio by accident. I hadn't re-enrolled for school. What would have been my third year of college. I had been to 2 years of junior college, not really having a direction or knowing where I was going to go. And then in the fall, I just didn't want to go back to that school. And I told my dad, I'm like, I just don't know if this is what I want to do. And he's like, man, I still don't know what I want to do. So just chase whatever. So, I got a lot of friends that are going through radio school and they're getting out and getting sales jobs. And my dad was always a sales guy, and he was good at it. So I thought, well, maybe it's hereditary. I'll just do radio sales and get into something, right? So I went to broadcast school and loved it. I love the on-air stuff. I love the production side, the producing of things. I loved all of it except for sales. So I thought, well, I'll get into radio and I'll try to do the on-air thing. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, I can always fall back on sales. So for almost 30 years, I guess you'd say it worked out. I had on-air gigs. I did morning shows. It was okay. It was a good time. And I started down in Fairmont, Minnesota, worked there for a couple of years, made my way up to Mankato in 1998. Did the midday shift on Country 103.5 from 98 to 2000. Moved to mornings in 2000, did mornings with Lisa from 2000 to 2007, I believe it was, or 2000. God, my years are all messed up. 2009, I believe it was, actually. When our station group was sold, then we ended up going across town to Radio Mankato, and we went on the air there, and we were on the air there together for 12 years or so. And I was a casualty at the beginning of 2020. But I got hired right back across town where I started in Mankato over at 99.1 and 103.5. So I went over there, became the program director at Mix 99.1. Everyone from Mankato knows it as Z99. And then I did some recording on Country 103.5 again. So I did that for about 4 years and was the program director and the on-air morning guy there for when I was there. And then one day in May of 2024, that company that I worked for, a national company, decided to eliminate all of their programming nationwide, all their on-air people, news people, everybody, and go syndication and AI, ironically. And so then was at that point I was kind of like, I just don't know if radio is going the direction I want it to, and do I have an opportunity to find the next thing I love? I hope I found that. But yeah, when I got bounced in May of 2024, I kind of made the decision I wasn't going to go back to radio, and so then in the last year, I've been going back and forth between here and Florida, working with my dad. And then last school year, I found the time to make sure I was back here for all of the football and hockey games to do. But now my responsibilities are ramping up down south, and it leaves me less time to be here. So a decision had to be made, and ultimately it was a very, very tough one. It's the toughest decision I've had to make post layoff that I've had to make in my life. I mean, we've my family and I have cried tears multiple times over this decision. It's tough, but as they say, shit happens and you got to move on. So you do what you got to do and appreciate the time you had.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think you guys won't be the only ones missing your voice at the Mayo and at the Blake. It's gonna be weird not hearing you on the mic. I'll throw it, Chad. I'll throw it right to you.
Well, I mean, we've asked Matt Dean this same question when he was on the show. I want to ask about your radio voice. Is that something that you've honed and practiced and stood in the mirror and worked on, or is that just a natural thing and it's more about like flow and how you're talking, not necessarily like your voice and how you present yourself?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's certainly a casual TJ that you're going to talk with, that you're going to bump into at a bar, whatever. But when it comes time to be on, so to speak, then you're going to project a little bit more. You're going to be more, maybe enunciate a little bit more. And so there certainly is that. I try to make it a mix between the two. I don't want to sound so different off the mic, but also I don't want to just always sound like I'm trying to sell you something. I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, the answer to that question is yes to both parts of it, because there is just the natural projection that comes with being a guy who's a big mouth, and can do that and carry and pull it off. But then to say that I don't practice a goal call in my car on the way to the arena would be a lie. Of course I do. I got to warm up the pipes, and I hope I get one or two of those in the car on the way there, and I hope I get 6 or 7 of them when I'm at the game, and I'm hoarse when I leave. And of course that happens sometimes, and then other times it doesn't. But yes, it's a little bit of both, working on it over time. I think if you were to go back and listen to the first few games I ever did compared to the last few games I ever did, they would certainly be quite a bit different, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing for anyone who's listened to episode 1 of Chattin Mavericks compared to now. Things have improved a little bit.
You guys have come a long way, and it's awesome. It's great. It's so cool to see. You figure it out along the way.
Exactly.
That's the best part.
It's a blast. Like you said, I think, from my standpoint, do it like the producing and the, getting it out there and seeing people listen to it. I think that, for you, it's probably the same kind of satisfaction from a radio standpoint as well. It's super neat to be able to do.
Yeah.
So it's super fun. Hobby.
Yeah. When you're in a radio studio, it's you and maybe another person, and you do something, and then it's just out there, and you hope it landed somewhere, right? So when someone brings it up, it's pretty awesome. You're like, okay, there's someone listening. That's great.
Yeah. Juts, I'll throw it right to you. What do you got?
Yeah. So TJ, in between a Friday and Saturday, what are you doing? Are you like tea guy? How are we keeping the pipes loose for Saturday?
Yeah. So I learned the hard way early on that you don't go out on Friday night when you have a 2-game series, because Saturday is really, really difficult. And don't get me wrong, I love to go out, but when I was in my younger days, I could rebound after a Friday night and get back to a game on Saturday. So now I don't. I don't eat anything a couple hours before a game, which is weird. I know I'm jumping on your pregame, your rituals and all that a little bit early. But I don't eat anything a couple hours before, because I just don't want to feel stuffed, when I'm at the game. I want to feel ready to go. And then I get to the game, and then on a Friday, I'll go home and maybe have a beer or two and just kind of chill, kind of go through Twitter, X, whatever, and look at comments and highlights. I do that after pretty much every game, because there's a lot of game I miss during a game. And then I'll hear people talking about it, and I'll be like, well, I didn't see that, or I was announcing this when that was happening. So I'll go back and kind of comb through Twitter and kind of get caught up on the fan side of things, and then go to bed. And then Saturday I'll get up, and depending on what's going on, I mean, in the past it's been chase my kids around to hockey games or other events. Maybe have to put in a shift somewhere before I go. Maybe go do, when I was working at Mankato Brewery, go do a tour, then go do a hockey game. I try to keep it pretty low key between Friday and Saturday, and then if I'm gonna go out, it's gonna be Saturday night.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. We've had a couple of Sunday recordings even that our voices have been pretty hoarse after a North
and it
Dakota
never
series.
gets easier as the years go by. I just don't get it.
It's weird.
Yeah.
That leads kind of into a question that popped into my head. You talk about where you are during a game, which is obviously in between the penalty boxes. You say you kind of miss out on some of the game. What do you see from that seat that others might not see from in the arena? Like, what do you get a really good view of, and what do you kind of miss out on?
I get a, not necessarily a view, but a really good listen to what's being said in the penalty box when players arrive. That doesn't go out over the microphone or get to the fans' ears, hopefully, which is sometimes very entertaining. So I do get that. I'll get occasionally, I'll get inside scoop on what a ref is looking at when he's reviewing something. And I know I'll often hear fans complain about, the announcer should have told us and I'm like, well, if I didn't tell you, they didn't tell me. That, that's just the way it is. If they tell me what they're reviewing, I'm going to tell you what they're reviewing. But if they don't, I can't make stuff up.
Yeah.
But I will get a good look across at the bench once in a while. I can't get a good look into the corners where I'm sitting down at center ice, obviously. So I'll have to look up at the screen once in a while, and then you catch yourself watching the screen and the players are right in front of you. And then you got to come back to reality and watch the game live and in person. But you get a real good look at the speed of the game from that level. And then where like my family would sit in their seats up in the 300 section across the ice from me, they love to sit up there because they get to look from top and they can see things develop. And from that 300 section in the Civic Center is some of the best seats in the house. If you love to watch, the systems of hockey play out, it's really great, as opposed to being right on the glass where, you're going to see some great stuff and you're going to be up close and see the speed of the game. But it's really like two different games from different locations. So being down there, I see all of that. And then when a goal is scored, I see nothing because I'm writing down the back timing from 20 minutes to see what the time of the goal was. I'm grabbing line charts. I likely know who scored the goal, so I'm writing that down. My sports information guy up in the press box is hollering assists down to me. I'm writing all that down. We're getting it all ready to go. And then as the puck comes and puck drops again and the Ole drops and fades out, then it's Maverick goal and we're off and running. And it's quite chaotic when a goal is scored, and I don't see any of that. So a lot of times I'll even miss the goal itself. If it was a sweet deflection or some sort of pass, I'll see the guy coming with it, but then I don't see what happens. And then when I see everybody later talking about, oh, that was sick, and then I'm like, well, I better get back to Twitter and figure out what I missed here. So I do get a really sweet vantage point of the game, but then there's a lot that I miss. And but I do take the time to go back and make sure I caught it all because I'm a fan as much as anybody else,
That's awesome. Chad, I'll throw it right to you.
I want to go back to you mentioning that you get to hear a lot of great things from penalty box to penalty box. You don't have to say what exactly was said, but is there a Maverick or two in your career where you knew if he took a penalty, you're going to hear some creative thoughts from the box?
There's several of those, and there's not like one in particular I can pinpoint. But if a couple of good stories just from the penalty box. You guys might remember it because it wasn't too terribly long ago, but it was when Nicky Rivera was playing with us. And he was out on the ice and he was coming towards our penalty box, and there was a guy in the penalty box, brand new guy working in the penalty box, right? So he knows when 2 minutes expires and it comes off the clock, open the door and let the guy out. Well, no one ever took the time to tell him that as players are coming towards the door, just keep the door closed, right? And so 2 minutes expired, he opened the door, and Nicky Rivera came right through the door and into the penalty box. And he's laying on his back, and I looked over my shoulder down at him, and he's laying there looking up at the ceiling, and he looks at Rob, the guy running the penalty box, and he's like, way to do your job. And then he gets up and skates out of the penalty box, And I was like, well, in reality, he was doing his exactly his job, what he was supposed to do. But it could have been a lot worse. I mean, you could have ended up with a terrible injury there, and thankfully it didn't. But that was a pretty good one. That was a good one. Years ago, and again, there's so many years and it all blurs together, so you can't remember the players, but you remember the teams. And years ago, there were 2 penalties, one in each box. It was MSU and North Dakota. And these guys were just screaming at each other, you know? And the North Dakota guy just kept yelling, "You're a piece of shit. You're such a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit." And the MSU guy would just jaw him back, taunt him back. He would throw the worst insult in a penalty box is, "Who are you? I don't even know who you are." That just pisses every hockey player off,
Sure.
which is awesome. But so they're jawing back and forth like this. And this other guy from North Dakota just keeps yelling, "You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit." Penalties are about to expire. They're about to open the boxes. And the MSU guy says something at him, and the North Dakota guy says, "Whatever, dude, I will eat you." And like he took a page out of Happy Gilmore, the MSU guy goes, "So you eat pieces of shit?" And then out of the penalty box and back to the game. You know, it was epic. It was one of the best. It's one of the best stories I tell people. But then you also get guys that sit there for 2 minutes and scream at each other. And with a second left on the clock, they'll be like, "Hey, tell your parents I said hi. We'll see you this summer." And out of the box and they're gone. And that's that small hockey world. You know, I love that. It's so cool where you just hate a guy for 60 minutes, but he's probably been your roommate when you were in juniors. You know,
Sure.
It's pretty cool.
That is
awesome.
hilarious. Juts, what you got?
Yeah.
So not to like totally flip the vibe here, but you're leaving. There's a new guy that has replaced you. What can you say about him, his voice? What are we in for? Did you have anything to do with hiring him?
Yeah.
Like what went into that?
I did not have anything to do with hiring him. I know that he's a big hockey guy and he knows the game really well. I know that he did at the football game the other day. He did the second half of the football game as far as public address goes, and did a good job. I've met Seth one time, so I can't say a lot about him, but I know that he's respected in the broadcast industry. They like him. MSU likes him, and he knows the game of football and he knows the game of hockey. So I have no doubt he can figure it out. But yeah, just like you were saying, it'll be different. It won't be me, and it won't be the things I did, but he'll hopefully be able to make some things his own, and hopefully people will latch onto that and they'll become new things. You know, I didn't always say "you betcha," you know, and that became a thing. And I didn't always call a Maverick goal the way I call a Maverick goal, but it just became a thing. So he'll find his way. He'll be just fine. I messaged him the day that I actually announced that I was hanging it up, and just told him, I said, "Man," I said, "it's such a great opportunity, and I hope you love it as much as I did, and I know you'll be great at it. Good luck." You know, and he got back to me right away, and he went right to work. So
Yeah,
I look forward to hearing him progress, get better. I look forward to, you know, as much as I hate to give this up and hate to not be that guy anymore, I look forward to going to games when I'm home and hanging out and being in the stands. And you know, I said to somebody the other day, it's kind of hard to believe, but I haven't drank a beer at a home game in over 21 years, you know? So I try to make up for it at away games. Don't get me wrong, but it's hard. That's a long time.
That's a lot of
I
years.
look forward to just sitting at a game with my family. They might find out they don't like to watch hockey games with me, you know?
Yeah, no, that is a lot of years to not drink a beer at a Mavericks game. I think Juts got a lot of flack when he was doing dry January this year, and we had our little couple games skid there where we were splitting series where we probably shouldn't have.
That was on me. I don't know.
Juts got that's just 1 month.
I was thinking about doing it again. I don't know if I can just for Maverick Nation.
Brutal.
You know, I could do it again, but
I
Maverick
don't
Nation,
know.
I don't think I
It'll
can.
be game time decision.
There's no.
If you
Give
took
the people what they want.
Well, however many games there are in January and just tacked them on to the beginning of February, does that count?
There's just no fucking way I'm doing
I think the hockey gods would approve of that.
Yeah, right?
Beer's too good.
Yeah.
So TJ, I think we ask a lot of the guys, especially past players that were involved with that infamous Bemidji CCHA Mason Cup final. You probably had one of the more interesting seats in the house, as we've talked about on here already. I mean, take us through the end of that game from your point of view, because I feel like you probably have one of the best recollections of it, because you probably saw some behind the scenes.
Crazy, yeah. Yeah. It was pretty wild. And it was one of those things where when it was over, I'm like, well, that'll never happen again. They'll never let that happen again.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, the goal was scored. Everybody went crazy. Trophies were handed out. People went to the locker room. And then I was getting ready to leave. I was packing up my things. My son actually had some sort of school fundraiser I was supposed to get to. And my wife was already at it, waiting for me. And my daughter and her boyfriend had left the arena and gone to a restaurant to get something to eat. And I'm sitting there and I'm getting ready to leave. And I turn around and one of the coaches is standing right behind me. And I said, "What's going on?" And it wasn't their head coach, but it was one of their coaches. He goes, "I don't think that was a goal." And I just kind of was like, "Oh, sorry, dude." I'm like, "Game's over. I'm like, done. Trophies are handed out." I didn't say that, obviously, but I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay. Whatever." And then it kind of
Weirdo.
lingered a little longer and people were like, "What's going on? This is really weird." Bemidji had their athletic director in the house that night. He was retiring, so this was potentially like his last hockey game. We had already secured a spot in the playoffs. Beisman came over, and now the two ADs are standing there next to me, and they're discussing the possibility of whether you can fire up a hockey game again, and I'm just thinking, no, you can't,
No.
and ultimately, yeah, they went round and round on it. Coaches met back in the Zamboni area, looked at replay, chatted it all out, and then decided. They came back and said, "All right, we need you to announce that we're going to have whatever it was, a 15, 20, 25-minute break, and the players are going to come out and warm up. We're going to start the clock at this time, and we're going to play it out from here, as if there hadn't been a goal."
Wow.
And I thought, and that again, you think, this is just some crazy stuff in sports that I'm like, people will talk about this forever. It'll never happen again. Because during the playoffs, every goal is reviewed. Sometimes it takes longer to drop the puck on the next goal during playoffs because every goal is reviewed and somebody gave the thumbs up on that goal that wasn't a goal. And so they just finished the game. Refs were off the ice. They were walking out the door. And then ultimately they made the decision to bring it back in. And I think about some of those gambles sometimes that Lucia has taken as the commissioner of the CCHA that have so far worked out. And if they didn't, there'd be a whole nother conversation. So yeah, if Bemidji would have come back and won that game, there's a whole nother school that would have been out of the tournament, and those people would have probably filed a lawsuit against him. But
Sure.
it went the right way. They got in, we won the game. Just crazy stuff. So yeah, to be right there at ice level for that. And then all of a sudden I'm texting people, they're going to start the game again. And my daughter's packing up her chicken wings and running down back from North Mankato, and people at the fundraiser are telling my wife to come back to the game. And so she drives back to the game. And, there were a lot of people that left that game, but, there was other concerns like the Civic Center staff wondering, how we can't scan everybody's ticket again, so what do we do? And ultimately they said, well, we're just going to open the doors and whoever comes in, comes in. And several people came back, not everybody, but they got to watch, us win twice, which was awesome.
It was great. I was one of the faithful few that got back into the building. That was incredible.
Yeah. The message that you had to present to the arena, are you scrambling to write that? Does somebody write it for you? How does that work?
A little bit of both, depends. At that time, I was pretty much scrambling to write it myself. They just said, we're going to put this on the clock. We're going to do this and warm up again. And then I'm like, okay, wait, like I'm shaking, like I'm freaking out, like, holy crap, this is epic. Right. And I'm a part of it. And so I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. How am I going to say this to make it make sense? And then I said it, and all the Bemidji fans that had gathered behind us at that point went crazy and they were screaming and hollering. And then, everybody came back. But sometimes they'll have a game day announcement that they need me to do that wasn't in the script or wasn't handed to me or presented to me beforehand. If I know what it is, I'll just jot some notes and make it up. But if it's something I didn't see coming, I'll be like, hey, can you just type that up in a text to me? And then they'll send it to me on a text, and I'll just get on the headset and say, I need the next break to make this announcement, and rattle it off. I try to be as flexible as I can. You try to be as structured as you can, but make room for adjustments along the way, because they happen.
Sure.
Yeah, no, hockey's a crazy sport. Just before I throw it to you, I kind of want to talk about, obviously, so you public address for football as well, which is a very different sport than hockey.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest difference, and is it hard adjusting between the two? Because obviously the two seasons overlap quite a bit.
Right. the hardest adjustment is going from quarters to periods, right? So you don't want to sit down at a hockey game and say, at the start of the, scoring at 13:20 of the second quarter, so you got to pound that into your brain. That's one of the harder parts. There's been some close calls where I didn't know if I was going to make it to the game because it was at football and I had to run down the hill. So those were always tough weekends where it was Friday night hockey, Saturday afternoon football, Saturday night hockey. Those are the weekends when usually I went out on Saturday night because I was due, but those are the biggest adjustments. A lot of the reads, the sponsorships and stuff are the same. Obviously, it's two different games, but I love them both, so I know them both. So it's not too big of an adjustment, but just knowing the differences between quarters and periods, I think, is always the thing that's in the back of my mind because I don't want to say something sounds stupid or more stupid,
Yeah, no, that's vital information.
Yeah.
Juts, what do you got?
So, yeah, you've mentioned a few people, but I know I work for PA my freshman year, and a lot goes into like getting information down to you. Like, how many people behind the scenes help you for hockey and like football? Like, obviously, every others and stuff.
Yeah, there's just so many people that put together scripts. A lot of times it's students, and they're working through Scotty and maybe it's sports information, whatever. So they're putting together scripts during the week. They've done a great job of getting me the scripts a day or two ahead of time. So I would always sit down, like let's say if it's a Friday game and I get the scripts on Thursday, I would usually either sit down Thursday night or, sometime in the middle of the day on Friday, lunch break or something, and I'll read the whole script. And a lot of times most of that script is exactly the same, but occasionally something that was from last week got left in or didn't get changed. And I'll either just make that adjustment on my own or let MSU know and they'll make that adjustment. So there's a lot of people on that end of it. But on game day, I would get to a game and I will go up to the sports information desk up there, the press box. I'll get line charts and starters from up there, fill all that in. And so all those guys up there are helping me out. And then when the game starts, there's about probably 6 or 7 of us on a headset. And a lot of people don't realize that, right? They just think, some people will yell at me about music that gets played. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything to do with that. I'm just the announcer. But thanks. I'll pass it along.
Talk to Scott.
Yeah. But yeah, it's me on the headset. Thursby's on that headset with me. A guy named Mike Jose from Sports Information, the guy that's passing along any sports information info, my assists and things like that. He's on a set with me. The scoreboard operator and the music person are on a headset with me. There's usually a director of sorts that's like a GA student that's kind of running the whole thing where they say, TJ, you're next on this read, or band, you got the next whistle, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So there's, like I said, 5 or 6 or 7 of us that are on a headset together at all time. It's been so much fun with all of those people, especially the people that have been around forever, like Thursby and that, we get our own little things going on during the games too. And so it's kind of a good inside part of the game that not everybody else hears. But on that day, there's a lot of people that are always helping you out. And if I'm stuck at the chair and I need something, they've always got somebody that can run it. So, that's kind of a broad answer to your question. But if you're looking for game day stuff, like helping me during the game, it's 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a team effort all the way around. I know. I listened to your guys' podcast with Scotty, and he talked, a lot about all the people that are involved from game day to, sitting down on Tuesday to figuring out what could have gone better. Keep that guy in the Mettler's hat off the screen and all that stuff. That was classic. I got to say, just, if I can comment on one thing, that podcast with Scotty was great because every time you guys make a comment that I know he's going to say something to you guys about, I know it, right?
Yeah.
And then when you guys just hint at it, I'm like, oh, they're talking about Scotty. And then Scotty dropped every single one of those things into his interview with those guys. So that was sweet.
Yeah, that was awesome. He was unbelievable. He was an awesome one.
It went a lot better than I thought it would. Yeah. I thought he'd yell at me the whole
time. He kind of did.
He'll do that. He'll just do that via text if you screw up again. Yeah.
Yeah, he will. Juts will be out of those Blue Line Club tickets by the third series.
Yeah, there is a running bet on how long they kick me out of the Blue Line Club, how long it takes.
You won't see Christmas.
In
Pitch well, I'll be
over-under?
well behaved. I'll just sit.
What's the
just sit like
over-under?
Mavs game.
Chad, I'll throw it to you next.
Yeah, so Colin mentioned working for PA. I worked for PA as well, and one of the hardest lessons I learned and had to learn it very quickly was there's no cheering on press row.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
did that
Right.
many times.
so
where they
mad
were
at
like, dude, Drahota and PA always had to tell me to knock it off.
Right.
Do you ever get that urge, or are you just so used to it? I mean, maybe more at first, but is it really hard for you to just not like, ugh, when something good happens? I mean, there's been a million memories in Maverick hockey and football, like where it's totally justifiable to lose your mind in such a big moment.
Yeah.
But like, how do you control yourself?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, like in the early days, I was really good at controlling myself because I just didn't want to screw up and get yelled at by somebody, right? And in football, you have to be a little bit more reserved, even though there have been moments where, it's really hard to contain yourself. And I'm not the only one that maybe has shown a little bit of emotion. But in the press box at our football stadium, I'm sure you've seen it. It's luxurious. And right next to me to the left is the music guy. And then right next to him is the visiting play-by-play and color guy. So they're right there in the open next to me. So we can't really be too vocal. We're pretty good in the football press box about keeping it close to the vest when that stuff happens. But also when the Mavericks score a touchdown, it is my job to get you fired up about it. So I can be a bit of a homer. And then as far as hockey goes, I did the same thing. I would, the guys down there at the scorers table would be like, oh, we're supposed to be neutral, whatever. And I was like, okay. Well, then finally one day I was like, no one's ever told me that. And it's, again, my job to make sure people are fired up about this. And I'm the home team announcer. I'm supposed to be a homer, So I kind of just gave up on that, and in the last 10 years or so, it's like something big happens, I give a good couple fist pumps, and then I got to get my line charts out and figure out who scored that and get back to work.
Yeah.
So I loosened up a little bit on that afterwards. It'd be different if I was up at the press box at the hockey games, but I'm down at the scorer's table, and it's me and like two other guys at that table. And if they got a problem with it, they can take it up with somebody. But I'm going to be a homer because I'm there to do that. That's my job.
Sure.
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. You kind of bring up, line charts and starting lines and stuff like that. I've done a couple of Pee Wee B games and went out to Minnesota for hockey doing public address and running the Apple Music. So I've run into a couple of names where I'm like, I have no idea how to even try to say this correctly. What is your kind of strategy to pronouncing names that are tough? Are you writing it out like how it like looks? Is it like what? Because that's a tough job. People underestimate that part of it.
Yeah, especially in hockey.
Yeah.
So again, a lesson I learned the hard way. When it would be game day on a Friday, I would sit at my computer at work all day looking at the other team's roster. And I learned that was a bad idea because I'd come up with preconceived pronunciations. Then I'd get to the arena and they'd tell me the real pronunciation. And then when it came time to say it, my brain was just burned with the way I'd been saying it wrong all day long. So I finally gave up on that. I said, I'm not even going to look at line charts till I get there. Right. And so then I get there and I look at it, and they've done a better job over the last, decade or so of putting phonetics with line charts, or at least having a handout that goes with it that has phonetics. And then I'll look at that and I'll be like, okay, this is, pronounced, whatever. And then I will like right next to his name, I'll write it phonetically, and I will try to see it and hear it that way, the way it's spelled. But then I have the phonetics there in case I need it. And I still don't always get it right, but it helps to get it right most of the time. So I learned the hard way not to go too in depth in it. And then the NCAA the last few years, and maybe they've been doing it longer, but they started forwarding it to me the last few years, puts together at the beginning of the year a pronunciation list for every team in college hockey. So I just print that whole thing, stick it in my 3-ring binder and bring it with me. And if I do decide I want to look at a roster a little bit early, at least I have the phonetics that were given to us by the NCAA. So if I do get it wrong and someone comes up to me, I can say, well, tell these guys because this is where I got it, But then if they correct me, I fix it and go about my business. But yeah, some of the names are really tough. They can be real tough. Sometimes it's like, what is this worth in a game of Scrabble? This is ridiculous.
Juts, what do you got?
Oh, I had one. It's gone.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'll send it over to you, Chad.
I mean, I try not to look down at my questions when I'm reading them to people, but this one I'm just going to read it, and I'm not even going to look at you. So we thought the world was ending when PA retired. We thought the world was ending when Sully retired. We thought the world was ending when Hastings left. We feel the same way with you leaving. A sincere and genuine thank you for everything you've done for Maverick Athletics and the city of Mankato. Your sayings get repeated in houses all over. I've said many times to my kids when they do something I ask them to do, thank you for your service, Riley. Could be taking out the trash or mowing the lawn, but it won't be the same without you, but I hope your time in Florida is everything you want it to be.
Thank you, man. That's, it's going to be a bit of, I've had a lot of people say, you're moving to Florida, and the short answer is yes, but it's going to be a process. My son just left for college, and he's down in Austin, Minnesota. My wife is not ready to leave her job yet. So it's really going to be about a 2-year transition. But my time over those 2 years in Florida will become more there than it is here. And so that was what, I made it work last year, but now this year I'm taking more responsibility down in Florida. And so we'll need to be there longer for things, and just can't promise that I'll be here. And 21 years ago, when PA sat me down and said, we want you to be our full-time PA guy, but we're looking for a guy that's going to stick around for a little bit and not just, pull up and move out of town. I told them, well, I don't have any plans anywhere to go, and 21 years later, here I am, right? I didn't go anywhere, and I missed one game ever in 21 years. So I'm super proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hang on those moments more than I am the sadness of giving it up, because I'm going to miss the hell out of it for sure. There's a little part of me that's like, I got to find a hockey team somewhere in Florida that I can work for that's close, the Icemen, Jacksonville Icemen are down there, but they got a good PA guy. So if he ever leaves, maybe I'll throw in an audition. But I appreciate it. It's been quite a ride. But I'm also really looking forward to just coming back and being a fan at games too, something sure. I haven't done a lot of. So, I don't know what else to say, but I appreciate you guys. That's awesome.
No, being a fan's a lot of fun. We can all confirm that. So,
right.
Before we let you go, TJ, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't ask, do you have kind of one moment? I mean, probably one moment's probably tough to narrow down, but do you have one moment as like a pinch me moment where you're making an announcement and you're like, wow, this is incredible stuff. I mean, what's kind of like the big moment that sticks out to you being a public address announcer for Mankato?
Yeah. Gosh, there's several.
Yeah.
I'll probably just rattle off a bunch because I can't really pick one, but the Bemidji game is obviously something like, gosh, I can't believe I was a part of that, because that's never going to happen again. So, we were all a part of something that's they're never going to let that happen again. Rivera's overtime goal against Bowling Green happened like 2 days before my birthday, and we were leaving the next day to go on a cruise, and we got down to Florida and got on a cruise ship, and I went hard on that all-inclusive wristband and slept till noon on my birthday. Like I didn't get to stick around and party with anybody, but I made sure I got my party in. So that was pretty awesome. If you go back years and years, the Denver comeback was something that was in the early days of my announcing that I didn't even realize was what it was until it happened, until after it happened. The 3-game series against the Gophers, where we won that first game in double overtime and then went to a bazillion overtimes that weekend, and walking through the hallways after those games and watching players laying on their backs with their feet up the wall, just draining lactic acid because they knew they had to get up and do this again the next day. And then I'm sure after Saturday, we're thinking, oh my God, we got to do it again tomorrow. And that was pretty awesome. Fans weren't a big fan of it when they, a long time ago, they shipped an MSU versus Minnesota game up to the XL Energy Center and made it a quote home game for MSU. But you ended up with about 5,000 MSU fans and about 12,000 Gopher fans in the building at the time.
That is pretty
But it was
cool.
technically an MSU home game, so they let me come up and do the public address at the X, which was pretty awesome. That was my first foray into announcing at the X. And from there, PA again, PA is the reason I'm doing this for MSU. He put in a word with the WCHA, and I went up and I announced the whole tournament, the Frozen Five, when it was up there one year, and they put me and my family up in the St. Paul Hotel, and
Nice.
I announced a couple games on Friday, and then we got up Saturday, and there was a wild St. Louis game, I believe, in the afternoon, and then there was the championship game that evening, and MSU was in that game, and I had to be a neutral announcer. That's some of the hardest stuff I've ever done, especially for football. But I had to be a neutral announcer for that game, and then once the final horn blew, then I didn't have to be a neutral announcer, which was fun since MSU won it. So those are some really, really cool highlights. And I got to say, again, another one that really wasn't a highlight while it was happening, because it was just for lack of a better term, a shit show. But Hockey Day Minnesota was so great to be outdoors. But, I was right in the same spot for that. I was at center ice, across from where everyone was sitting, no cover over top. And it just started snowing like a madman. And all my papers, I don't have a nice clean cut sheet for goals and assists and time of. I just scribble on a piece of paper all night long. And at the end of the day, I've got this hot mess that I throw away. Yeah. And so I'm doing that during this game. And now the snowflakes are hitting it. The paper's getting wet. And as soon as I write something, it blurs. And I couldn't really read anything. So now I'm just trying to remember who were the assists he just told me, okay, do I get them right? Hope I got them right. And I got through the game, and at the end, there were so many people at that game, not just people, but media members, that the football press box was full, and the sports information people were actually over in the alumni suite at the basketball arena. And so they're on the phone with me after the game saying, hey, we missed some things here and there. Can you bring your papers over so we can see them? And I'm like, dude, you can't read these. He's like, please bring them over for me, whatever. And at that point, I'm not really in a great mood. And everyone in the arena is talking about how awesome this was, and I'm walking out. I got to go over there, and I go past my family, and they want hugs to tell me how awesome it is, whatever. I'm like, you know what? Give me 5 minutes. I'm sure this was amazing, and then I went over there to the suite, and they're like, just anything you got that would help. And I opened up my folder, and I took out little pieces of paper that had ripped apart, and I put them together like a puzzle, sopping wet on the table. And they looked at them, all the blurred ink and everything, and they were like, yeah, never mind, it's fine. And then I just threw them in the garbage, and I went back out, met with my family, and then I was like, this was so awesome. It was like, till you just got through that business moment, you had to have a second to soak it in. And then when I look back on the whole event itself, it was just, it's going to take something epic to top that Hockey Day Minnesota.
No
ever,
kidding.
if you ask me.
Yeah. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense now, because I don't know. I think it was Nick. Who did we have on? It was an alumni.
McNeely.
Was it McNeely? McNeely. Yeah, we had McNeely on,
Jack.
and in his intro, Jack. Yeah, we had Jack McNeely on, and in his intro, I said, he scored, or I think maybe it's one of my questions. I'm like, yeah, you scored a goal at Hockey Day Minnesota. How cool is that? And he's like, no, I didn't.
No, it didn't.
He's like, I'm like, I think I would have.
Yeah.
So now that maybe that's where that would have came in. Maybe they mistaked some.
They just didn't get it updated. Yeah, because my chicken scratch had melted away in the snow and disintegrated into pieces. But yeah, it was tough for them because, and I can't, I'm not making fun of them. They were in a difficult spot. They weren't watching the game. They were watching on TV from afar. So I think they did the best job that they could. But man, what a game. I'm like, just moving the puck, it was throwing rooster tails of snow, and it was just ridiculous, Not really fair, but it was still awesome.
No, it was great. Well, TJ, I think that about wraps it up. That's all we got. We cannot thank you enough for your time today, and obviously your time over the past 20 years. I think Big Bag said it best, but I just, on behalf of Maverick Nation, thank you so much. And thank you for your service, as you like to say. And I no words. I mean, you were truly a treasure, and we're going to miss you here at the Mayo. So
That veteran of the game is one of my favorite promos that we always did. It was always cool to see. Even the refs and the players would get into it. It's pretty special, pretty cool. The whole damn thing's been pretty special. I can't thank you guys enough. I'll be following along, and I'm a big fan of your guests. Side note, John Paberka, I was his track and field coach in high school, so you can bring that up with him next time you chat with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you have
Johnny picked up the discus late in high school, and I took him to the section track meet.
Yeah, I was going to say, he doesn't look like a runner.
Yeah, have him tell you that story someday about the section track meet his senior year.
Well, we're due, so
But,
we're going to have
yeah.
to get him on and talk about it.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and I love the
He is.
knowledge that he brings on the recruits
Yeah.
that the Mavericks have. So,
He's unbelievable.
I've listened to every episode. I'll continue to listen, and I got the setup. So if you guys need a voiceover, I can whip up my best AI voice and crank it out for you.
There it is. Absolutely, TJ. Well, what a good note to go out on. Thanks again, and best of luck in future endeavors. We'll see you around the Mayo, I'm sure. So,
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
awesome. You too. All right, Maverick fans, that was TJ. I mean, it's going to be so weird not hearing his voice at the Mayo, and I think Big Bag, you're kind of owed your goodbye to him. There was awesome. That was beautiful. So, it's going to be it's going to be tough not hearing his voice, but we're in good hands. I know Seth is going to take over, and it sounds like he's got a lot of experience coming in, and he's pumped. He's pumped to be doing it. So it'd be awesome to have him on and talk to him about it as well, about the new role. So if you're listening, hit us up. But anyway, let's wrap this thing up. It's been a long episode. We got two long interviews and some stuff to cover. So let's get this thing wrapped up here with a quick shot segment. It's very late on next questions, so that's my bad, Mav fam. So we didn't get those in here, but we'll be doing those throughout the year, so plenty of time. The Midco deal, I wanted to just make sure everyone's aware. There's a way on there right now. If you sign up now, it's $8.99 a month if you subscribe annually. So obviously the CCHA TV will be on Midco Sports again this year. So that is how you are going to watch Maverick games if they're away, and if you don't live in town, how you'll watch them all the time. So get on that, get that done, so that way you're not scrambling on whatever that is, October 10th, trying to figure out how to watch the game. So get that done early.
Yeah, the deal.
Like Colin did while he was at the game. Remember last season when you were trying to figure that out while we were at the game?
I was trying to watch the Beaver game.
Yeah. You're like, how do I do this?
You can't use cellular. I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
Also, Bemidji's finishing 9th.
If we haven't brought that up, Bemidji's finishing 9th. This is new news today. We're obviously recording on Sunday the 14th here. There's another fan bus going to Omaha, October 11th. It's $150 round trip. Just go there and back that night, I guess I should say. That 150 includes your ticket. You'll leave right from Mavericks Sports Bar downtown here in Mankato. There's also an additional pickup spot in Sioux City. I don't know what the details are on that quite yet, but sounds like it's pretty. They're just trying to get enough people to make it make sense right now. So if you're interested, go onto their social media pages, Maverick Sports Bar, and you will find the information there. And then there's also, obviously, I think it's been out for a while, but the hockey bus is official for the Badgers series as well. The Blue Line Club is putting that one on. Fellas, I know you both will be on the bus, so I don't know if you guys wanted to touch on that a little bit more, but I don't know if you want to plug a certain something there, Big Bag.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, we've been asking for this, and apparently asking ye shall receive. So we are hopping on the bus to go out to Madison. I hope the bus is full. It'd be so cool to just hang out with everybody and have a good time. There is a shirt available on our website through our
allegedly
on the link Teespring. It says "Not My Coach," KNOTT. If anybody's looking to troll the Badgers a little bit, there's a great opportunity. So we can put the link out. We'll probably put it out on socials so that people can find it.
It'll be in the show notes on this show as well. You can just scroll down to the show notes, and I'll make sure the link's in there for that as well. Yeah.
So if that's something you're interested in, even if it's just a memory of the trip or whatever, feel free to go check that out.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It looks like pricing that they have and go to their social, Blue Line Club, Maverick Blue Line Club on Instagram. Looks like has the most. I think there's some stuff on Facebook as well. It's obviously at the Kohl Center. It's a $260 bus / ticket, and then a $276 Marriott hotel room. So going to be a ton of fun. I unfortunately will not be able to attend due to a wedding that weekend. So that kind of, obviously wedding takes priority there, but I'm hoping to be there for the Thursday game, but I will not be there for the whole trip, unfortunately. Otherwise, I absolutely would. So shout out to the Blue Line Club. Shout out to Maverick Sports Bar and Grill for putting those 2 buses together. So sign up for the Mavericks thing. They want to make that happen. And obviously, there's even a tighter time frame to make that one happen as well. So before we wrap up, just wanted, go for it.
Dumb question on just because I haven't seen it yet. Remind me again, the Omaha trip, is that for the Friday game or the Saturday game?
Saturday game. Yes, that's totally my bad. I absolutely should have said that. It's for the Saturday game, so just there and back that night and that day. So you'll leave probably midday. I think they're still getting those details nailed down, but leave on a coach bus that day. Looks like they're trying to get at least 50 people to go to make it work. So if that's something you're interested in, you'll be there and back. Don't got to put miles on the car and go. They've got a pretty sweet. Is it? What's the name of their rink in Omaha? I forget. I think it's Baxter. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet barn. It's pretty good size. Yeah. So it'd be nice to get some purple in there.
I might have to move things around and see if I can make that work.
Yeah, absolutely. So you fellas got anything more for season 2, episode 2 here?
Nope.
I'm just thrilled that Colin is willing to move things around to make Maverick related events work out for him. Sorry, buddy.
True gentleman of the game.
I love you.
I got a life now, Big Bay.
You do. That's fair.
That's fair. I have a dog to think about.
It's true.
All these things.
Bring him with.
Oh yeah, on a bus. That would be a stupid idea. I'll just say that fearless dog and I'll wear a helmet or something.
What's that smell?
Colin, did Captain or you shit?
Not
sure.
Jacket.
It's the fur coat.
So, a lot of laughs on this episode. A lot of great talks. Obviously, there's been some kind of going out on a somber note, but there's been some pretty terrible stuff in our world past couple weeks since you recorded. Obviously, we're a very small podcast, and this, we're not here to change the world, anything like that. But just wanted to extend, our thoughts and our prayers, especially to everyone that's been affected by the stuff up in the cities at the Annunciation Catholic School. Obviously, there's another school shooting out in Colorado the other day, and then the pretty public assassination of Charlie Kirk as well. So just extending our thoughts and prayers and letting those folks that are going through some of the most terrible stuff they could probably go through, just let them know we're thinking about them and praying for them. And just terrible stuff. So, stuff like Maverick hockey, it's something that we can all come to and, forget about the world for a little bit. So we're blessed to have it. And again, just want to make sure all those people know we're thinking of them and praying for them and hope they can, find some peace and light at the end of the tunnel. So sad note to go out on. But with that, we're going to wrap up episode 2 of season 2 of the Chattin Mavericks podcast. We'll be off for the next 2 weeks, taking a little break before we hop back into our regularly scheduled programming. So we're coming back. The next time you'll see us, we'll have some interviews ready, and then we're going to preview the first series of the year against Omaha. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Cool. So see you guys in a couple weeks. As always, roll Mavs. See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chattin Mavericks podcast. Please be sure to leave a review, subscribe, and share. Roll Mavs.